I get better luck on the weekends, but we'll see. Either way, it'll be here on the replay for the folks.
Oh snap, we live.
Yeah, we live right now.
Hey, we
Waiting for it
spotting it
to.
up. The whip. Whip.
Hey, what's up, Carl? Carl McCartney, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Already hitting it in with the comments. We're gonna answer comments later on for sure. We got some stuff we got to talk about.
Cool,
Got Sam over from Team JVS with me. I'm gonna have him introduce himself a little better, but he has some interesting theories.
Oh,
Some of you guys may know him. Ronan. JVS is telling me, man, if you want to hop up in here, brother.
Yeah,
I'd love to have you.
Ronan, check your Twitter, bro. We wanted to invite you in, man. I know you definitely want to talk more on this. Yeah, Ronan, he's actually about to start up a little get together roundtable. So I know he wanted to be in. Oh, there's John right there.
Night, I'm here in spirit. That's all that matters, brother. Yeah, if you want to show up, I sent you the link. So if you want to show up, links all there.
Oh man, this is about to be lit.
Oh, we got 13 people. We lit. We are here. Gary Dennison, how you doing, brother? Welcome.
I'm about to share this real quick. Oh yeah, there you go.
Gary Dennison, how you doing, brother?
Yeah, I got
Reefer Man Reviews, man. He said hi.
Reefer Man Reviews. Reefer Man Reviews. Yeah. Oh my god, man.
Oh man.
That's funny though.
I love it. Ronan. Yeah, Carl McCartney, man. We're gonna get to your comment. We're gonna get to some comments later. We definitely got a lot to say about this movie and a lot not to say about this movie. And then
right.
End credits, man.
Yeah. the end credits, I think after you got done looking at the movie, you had texted me and I was like, I called him up and I was like, yo, what about this, and this? And he was like, what you doing, man? We got to make this a video.
Yeah.
Now we're here.
All right. So Ronan, yeah, he sent you the link. So just click join the studio and I'll bring you in. And then JVS, whenever you're ready, you go ahead and introduce yourself to these folks.
Yeah, sure. I'll go ahead and do that now. All right. What's going on, everybody? My name is Sam. I am the EIC and lead critic for Team JVS. Team JVS or JVS initially started as a reaction-based channel. We are an X reaction channel. Now we do everything from reviews, the discussions, interviews. We are classified as professional critics at this point, and we talk about anything and everything like media, entertainment, and I'm always here and open to talk movies and TV shows, especially with Matt. And I want to give him a huge congratulations on the channel and like the accolades. Like so many different things happen for this man, and I'm really proud of the progression that he's made. And he's about to have some life goals up there on this notch very soon. So yeah, man, I'm happy to be here, honestly.
Thank you. Y'all heard the man. Make sure to check out the channel, Team JVS. Great reviews. They got some great people over there doing some great work. Definitely check them out. We got Ronan joined. We're gonna have him introduce himself. Bring him in the stream. Ronan Unchained. How are you?
How are you, gentlemen? Yes, I'm Ronan Unchained. I do videos as well, like these gentlemen. And Matthew, I've seen your work from the background. I remember when I was watching The Mandalorian, I'm like, oh boy, I can't wait to see what he thinks about this, and this, and this. And Sam from Team JVS, it's always good to see you and talk to you, man.
Dude, yeah, man, we haven't formally met.
I know. Yeah, mostly I think either you left by the time I joined the Akasan DC fandom panel, but I remember you guys freaking out when what was his name, Fanboy, started going off on DC. I was like, oh boy, what did I get myself into?
No, I never forget. I was sitting there and I was like, huh?
But I heard as well about your new life endeavors. Congratulations, sir, and good on you to keep growing your own channel, man. I love it seeing all these fellow nerds from across the world just grow up.
Yeah. Strange times, man. Strange times.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy because I always say this every time because it's true. But you know, JVS, y'all don't know this guy's a legend in this entire reaction business, man. Like, watched his videos.
Yep.
You see Night Entertainment in the comments too. Watched his videos too.
What's up, John?
Night go way back. Night go way back. Way back. So, you know, it's crazy that we all could come up here and just talk with each other, you know, and just kind of just nerd out and stuff, like some full circle stuff, man. So it's definitely dope. You know, Sam and I became pretty good friends over the last year. We've been talking, interacting. So it's been good. It's been good times.
Yeah, man. I remember seeing Sam's video for the opening of season 7 of Walking Dead. I remember that was the first time I saw it. I'm like, because I wasn't watching Walking Dead. I'm like, oh, poor guy.
Walking off the couch.
Well. Dude, I walked out. I think that night somebody was like, "You're trending in Sweden." I said, "What?" So you telling me people watching me walk out of a react? Like I was so embarrassed, but I'm honored at the same time, bro. But I will say this up here and acknowledge that I am going to be catching back up to The Walking Dead and doing reviews again on The Walking Dead. And I haven't said this publicly, but I will be doing reactions and putting them on Twitch. So
let's get it.
Nice.
Let's get it. Nice. We need you back in the reaction spam, brother.
Come back.
YouTube threw me out, y'all. I can't help it. That threw me away. Threw me away, bro.
All right. So I think we got enough people here in the chat to start. All you guys who are joining in live, thank you once again. We'll shout you guys out. We'll talk about all your comments. If you got any questions for any one of us, let us know in the comments. We'll highlight it. We'll talk about it. And for those who are watching on the replay, just thank you so much for watching, and definitely subscribe. If you're coming from a search result, definitely subscribe. We have plenty more Marvel reviews to do on the channel, and I'm pretty sure JVS and Ronan will cover them on their own channels too. We got Eternals, we got Spider-Man No Way Home, Hawkeye, so many great stuff. Book of Boba coming out too. So,
oh my god,
plenty of stuff for the rest of the year. You know that. I know Sam's also busy doing some movie stuff right now, man. Working overtime.
I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah, man. So definitely subscribe. So I say we get into it, fellas. Which one of you guys want to start? What you think? First of all, what do you think about the movie?
It's Venom irrelevant. 2. It doesn't. I'm just playing. I ain't gonna say that. Nah. So any of you guys that haven't seen the movie yet, we're going into spoilers. So please watch the movie first or whatever, and then we'll come back to this video afterwards. For me, I felt like Venom 2 was a definite leg up from the first one, but you know, if you didn't want to have that comedic banter between Tom Hardy and Tom Hardy back and forth like the first one, they doubled down on it on the second one. I do think that Woody Harrelson plays an amazing job as Cletus Cassidy. Could they have took it to different levels and different depths? Absolutely. But I think that they pushed it as far as they could, as far as a PG-13 rating. And I think that the thing was, the whole entire time I was like, why did they lose the rated R rating? I knew Andy Serkis said like a year ago, he was like, it's going to be rated R, it's going to be rated R. And then I realized at the end of the movie, why? All this is about the full circle that is the inclusion of Spider-Man. But as far as the film is concerned, it felt really comic booky. I love the inclusion of a mutant in Shriek. I love the inclusion of what the symbiotes could be and their history and 1,000 years history. I have a theory on that I want to talk about later. But I do think that sometimes it doubled down on comedy too much. I do think that there should have been an actual death and a real sacrifice for Eddie Brock to progress him forward somewhere else. But other than that, it was an entertaining time. It was more entertaining, more fun than the first one to me. But if any of you guys had issues with the film, I mean, I'm not going to knock you for it because I understand. But
yeah. Same for me. Funny enough, I had not seen the movie for years now. I dug Venom as a kid from the animated series of Spider-Man. Tom Hardy is someone I look up to as I learn more about film and theater. And I don't know why. I just didn't want to watch it. I didn't even go on the Black Friday sales to buy the Blu-ray cheap and whatnot. I was just like, let me watch it the day before I go see 2, and let's see how it is. And I was like, okay, yes, this is bonkers. I'm having fun in a weird way. Why is he eating that lobster? What's with the dead thing? I'm like, okay, like he's no one's holding back. Okay, this is the unedited stuff. This is the Venom cut. Okay. And I had fun with the first one, and I went to the second one. I'm like, there is horror elements. Why is this? Oh, PG-13. And then I'm like, why is this holding back? And then we get to the end credit scene. Like, oh, a transitioning. Okay, this is cool. And again, yeah, like Woody Harrelson we're doing spoilers, so it was funny that he got his head chopped off. It made sense for this context of these 2 films. F this car. But part of me was just like, don't do what most of these movies do, where just kill off the main villain, and that's it for that one. And which I'm hoping that the elements and context of what's going to happen after the end credit scene,
right?
Maybe bring him back in some case. Naomi Harris, right, who did Shriek, I believe.
Yeah,
yeah, she did Shriek.
She's great. It was lovely to see her, and yeah, because Sam had said there's something besides the end credit. There's the first scene that's like speculation and whatnot. I'm like, what's she talking about? Then I heard her say the words mutation. I just went, wait.
Right.
What did I just hear? Wait,
like
what?
This is the first
this.
time technically in the MCU that word and verbiage is used, and I was just like, now this is classified as MCU. I don't even want to get there. I'll wait. There's so many different things to gush about, but I'm waiting.
Yeah. I dug it. I had fun with it, even though it is very bonkers, and I'm gonna have to wait for the Black Friday sale to buy the Blu-rays.
Yeah.
I rewatched the first one because we're doing so much reactions on the channel. We're doing What If, we're doing Titans, we're doing all this crap. I'm like, oh man, when I have time, so I'm like 2 hours before my time at the theater, I'm like, oh crap, I gotta watch this film. So threw it on, and I'm like, all right, let me watch it. And I forgot so much about the tone of this film and like the jokes. I for some reason I remembered it being like overly dark in my head. But then when I watched it again, I'm like, man, this movie is funny as jack. What the hell? And I'm like, so going into the second one, I was like, okay, let's see what they do with this. I'm hoping we get some good carnage scenes. And for those of y'all who didn't see my spoiler-free review, you can go ahead and just get my general thoughts and watch that one. And I was telling Sam, like, I had a hard time filming that review because, especially spoiler-free, because as a whole, it wasn't a lot to say about the film other than the comedy, which pretty much what everyone is saying, what you both said, the comedy, the action, some just the over-the-top humor because of the end credit scene. But you couldn't even mention the end credit scene directly without even without mentioning everything else before. So it was difficult. I had to film like 3 different videos and kind of stitch them together. It was annoying, but I did it just to get a general review for the film. So I mean, overall, I enjoyed it. Besides, the like 8 people coughing behind me, I had to move. Yeah, man, I moved all the way to the back. I was like, I'm not having it. So I moved all the way to the back. But besides that, it was, the comedy was a comedy. I gave it like a 6.5 out of 10 in my review. But the end credit scene is where, I think that's when everyone in the theater actually woke up. Because everyone was just kind of like
they woke up.
Like laughing, but at the end credits, everybody was like, "Oh, that guy was like, looking at the screen like this," and I'm like, "Okay, that's the real meat of the whole thing." So, yeah, man. I can't really say anything too bad about it because the movie was extremely self-aware. It knew what it was, it knew what it was trying to do, and we got what we needed to get from it. But unless you guys have anything else to say, I say we just jump straight to that end credit scene, man.
Just like the movie didn't waste any time at all, which is a plus. Let's not waste any more time. Let's go right into it.
Let's get it. All right. I think Sam, since you brought this, so let's set the scene. So for those who are watching this, but you haven't seen the film, but you don't care about spoilers, we'll tell you what happened. Yeah. So we get to the end, Venom and Eddie, chilling on an island. I'm gonna just do the black ad-lib version. Chilling on the island, and then next thing you know, on the screen, James Jonah Jameson shows up, and Tom Holland Spider-Man shows up. And that was the biggest thing because Venom seems to recognize this guy.
Mhm.
And he said, "Oh, this guy." And it seemed to be extremely intense. That was literally the most Caribbean way I can explain this entire scenario. But that's basically
I'm gonna break it down differently. But go ahead.
Go ahead. I just kind of skipped a lot of details, but go for it.
No, you said a good backdrop for anybody that has already seen it. But so for people that haven't seen it, the movie ended with Venom and Eddie on the beach, contemplating their relationship and what they're gonna do next, which is so weird. And then the movie ends. But then the next scene you see them, they're in Mexico, and it's dark, and they're kind of sitting on a bed, and they're having a conversation about, Eddie was like, "Well, what do you know? Where are you from?" and all this kind of stuff. And Venom basically said, "If I gave you even an inch of what I've known or gathered information for the past thousands of years, it would explode your brain." And he was like, "Okay, I'm about to show you." And then all of a sudden, it seemed like he was about to show him what we know from the history of Venom, which there's a huge history there. I don't want to spoil because I think that it's going to get there. I think Sony's really going to go for it later on. But right as that was happening, all of a sudden, like everything around them started to shake and rivet, almost like you've seen in the Spider-Verse. And Venom was like, "I didn't do it. It wasn't me." And then it's daytime. It's daytime. It's completely daytime. And they look to the left, and then all of a sudden the TV, it changes from something else to J. Jonah Jameson. J. Jonah Jameson is talking about Spider-Man and how Spider-Man is, Tom Holland's Peter Parker. And then they kind of go up to the screen, and he transforms into Venom. And he was like, "Oh, something about this guy, tasty," something like that. And then he licks the screen, and then somebody in the back, wherever in that same exact hotel, was like, "Why are you in my hotel?" And there's so many different implications to that, which we're going to break down in just a second. But yeah, that's the detailed version of it.
Yeah, man,
man.
Good on your memory. All I remembered was transition to another scene. This guy licked the screen, and there we go. So thanks for that. But yeah, no, Ronan, you were saying something.
It's weird because first off, it starts off with a novella, and I'm like, weird enough because I'm Latino, I recognize the novella. I'm like, what the hell is it? What is this part about? What's with the Juan Jose and his girlfriend and while she's pregnant about? What the heck? Oh, they're watching a novella. Cool. Mm-hmm. And the unique part about all that is that my memory might be wrong, but I believe we hear first J. Jonah saying Spider-Man is Peter Parker. We don't really see it, and then I'm like, wait a minute! Oh, they're doing it, and it just turns, and you see the TV on, and you're like, what the hell is happening? And my big thing is, and I don't know if it's okay if I could jump the gun, but I just was like, okay, that's the sound effect that sounds similar to the No Way Home trailer. At least to me, it was. But that footage and this report news feels like it's straight from Far From Home ending. I'm like, what? So does this take place before or after or at the same time? Does Venom pop out at a different or earlier time? What the heck? Is Kevin Feige in the room when this was shot? Like, right. I hope so.
So this is the interesting thing about that is, say hypothetically speaking, that this is No Way Home. Like Peter Parker and Doctor Strange have done this and caused this to happen, right? Why would Eddie Brock and Venom, not have everything like repurposed? What I mean by that is, why wouldn't they adapt to the universe that now they've been pulled into? Like, why would they have the same exact memories from where they were at, and now they're back somewhere else? The other thing that I talked to Matt about is, I was like, wait, hold on. This hasn't even happened yet. We haven't even got to the point that Doctor Strange and Peter have made that effect yet.
Yeah.
And to me, I heard the rivet and the noise, but to me, it reminded me of the Spider-Verse. Like Spider-Verse as in like Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, wait. is it possible that there are two different things that are about to happen? One, there's a Spider-Verse event that's happened that transported Eddie Brock to the same exact plane. And then right before that, or after that, then this is what's going to happen in No Way Home. Because to me, I was like, that seems even more interesting. Now, it could be that the same exact things happen. It's just at a different time period. But in all honesty, like that seems more of a Spider-Verse thing too, because that's the same thing that happened to Gwen. Spider-Gwen got transported back at a certain point beforehand, whereas, Ben Parker or, Peter B. Parker ended up at a certain point right as he was supposed to. And all the rest of them ended up in different points. So I was kind of posing to Matt. I was like, Matt, what if this isn't just a Doctor Strange multiverse situation? What if this is a Spider-Verse event that's happening to Venom?
And I quote,
but it's also coinciding with what's happening on No Way Home. Because I was like,
quote, as soon as he said that, I was driving right on the way back. I literally did this. Oh! And then, like, the dude next to me, like, at the stoplight was, like, looking at me like this. I'm, like, literally was, like, just like that the entire I was like, no way. I'm like, yo, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm like, because you, like, opened my whole, like, brain with that. Because that, like, I was not even thinking about that as a possibility. I'm just like, Doctor Strange, you messed it up, multiverse stuff with Loki, yada, yada. Everything we've seen before, that's probably what it is.
Right.
You said Spider-Verse. I said, wait, hold up. Hold on. So that was a big thing for me. That was insane.
That's the bonkers element, because like you, Matthew, I was just like, so okay, so Doctor Strange and Peter are doing their secret spell thing. Okay, but what about Loki and Wanda? Are they messing with their own stuff at the same time? And I hear Sam bring up Into the Spider-Verse, and you're like, please have a plan. That's all I'm hoping for. I'm okay with this. I know as much. People know more than I do, but I know as much about the multiverse and all. I've seen the movies. I've seen all this stuff, and it's like, all right. Hopefully, there's a plan. It's not just throwing meat at the wall to see what sticks just for the sake of it. That's where I'm like, I hope everyone's on board with what happened and what they just shot for that credit scene.
So I think that this movie, though, honestly, regardless if it's well received or not, it benefits both the MCU and Sony. Sony, Venom 1 and 2 are Sony films, no matter what. And even, Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home, yes, they are tied to and involve, MCU characters. But the reason why we're most excited for No Way Home is the prospect of what they're bringing from Sony's previous films. It doesn't have anything to do with any other Marvel character. It ain't even Doctor Strange. It's more so about, what if they bring back Andrew Garfield? What if they bring back Tobey Maguire? We already know Doc Ock is going to be in it. We already know Jamie Foxx Electro is in it. There's already been rumored that what's her man?
Sandman?
Father. Yeah, Sandman, and of course the Green Goblin are going to be in it. So those are the things that are exciting us about that. It doesn't even got anything to do with Marvel, which is crazy. So I think that Sony knows where they're going. And I think, honestly, we don't even know what the Spider-Verse 2 movie is going to be. We know that it's going to revolve around Spider-Gwen. But what if, imagine, midway during that movie, they go into a live-action scenario? they literally could set us up in a situation that I feel like they're building towards a Miles Morales. I feel like they're building towards a Gwen Stacy. And, technically, they have one more instance with the MCU where Spider-Man is involved in a Marvel film. But this is Tom Holland's last on contract with them through this film. So whatever happens from this point, it's going to platform both. It's going to promote Doctor Strange, Universal Madness for him. But they both are benefiting from both of this. And so I really feel like this is building something else, man. I know for a fact the Loki and the WandaVision are really big with the multiverse situation, and then with the Kang, the Conqueror. I feel like Sony was like, you know what? We already got something already started.
Yeah, we need our own
Spider-Verse has already been started.
Multiverse Sinister Six.
Right.
And it can't be a coincidence that what if, yes, the pandemic didn't help nobody at all, but it can't be a coincidence that we're like, all right, let's just drop what if around this time and get even just kids used to this concept, and we'll see where that plays out. Oh man.
And you also mentioned like Sam, the tweet from Jared Leto.
Yep.
And Morbius, him promoting the film. And he asked the question, why would he be promoting the film if he had no involvement in what's to come after that? Is he just being a good guy? Is he being a good bro? You know, like what was happening with that?
Well, that Tom Hardy photo went viral like that, I believe. Right? When he was wearing like some merch concerning Spider-Man. Yeah.
Yeah. Even so, this the other crazier thing that just happened yesterday. Philip Lord and the director of Spider-Verse commented on the Venom movie. Why? Yes, it's a Sony project, but why add anything extra to it? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of people are going to this film like, okay, we're gonna see this run the mill, but that end credit scene is what's changing their perspective of where Sony's gonna take this and what MCU is gonna do with it. And I think that's the most interesting and engaging thing. The other thing I wanted to talk to you remember, Matt, we talked about Venom, right? So Venom was talking to Eddie about the possibility of learning more, you know, from what he's done for thousands of years. But he was talking in terms of like Venom, the symbiote, and everything. It spans thousands of years, but not just to this dimension.
Nope.
Multiple different dimensions, a multiverse situation. So meaning that, is it not possible that Topher Grace's Venom, right, in some way, shape, or form is now connected to Tom Hardy's from a memory standpoint? It's like the reason why, you know, Tom Hardy and Venom looked at him is like, of this
he recognized
person is because it's connected. And I was like, dude, this is insane if they go that route, especially with Venom. And that's what I was talking about tonight. That's what I was talking about in credit. I was like, we need to talk about that, Joy.
So beyond the possibilities with because we know they can't touch anything with mutants. That's all a Marvel thing, but that's all an MCU thing. They can't really do too much with that. But as far as this Spider-Verse continuity going forward, how far do you think that can go though? Like how far do you think they can take it?
Man, they own all Sony. I mean, Sony owns everything Spider-Man related. So meaning that Miles Morales is theirs. Every single character that, you know, Ghost Spider or Spider-Gwen has, they have. And I mean, I don't know if any of you guys remember like the old animated series, right?
From the 90s?
Yeah.
So
you remember how, shout out to John Simper, because there wouldn't be a Spider-Verse without him. He created a Spider-Verse scenario where right after the Secret Wars, Madam Web,
I remember that,
Peter Parker, and she brought together all different versions of Spider-Man to go and try to stop Peter Parker that was induced with the Carnage symbiote.
Yeah.
So I'm saying if they pull from that level and bring, like, they already announced the Madam Web movie. That's all I'm gonna say. So to do that, there's a reason for that. You don't bring Madam Web in if you don't, you know, bring in like the connection with the Spider-Verse for it.
The Beyonder and all that. Yeah.
Right. So I don't think there's any limitations they have. I mean, it's just, I mean, technically they can even brokerage another deal to get more MCU people, but they don't need to. They really don't need to at all.
Yeah. This is just fine without having Spider-Man connected so much to the MCU and just have him be his own adventure. That's the cool thing about what I always thought about the animated series from the 90s. The X-Men had their own, Spider-Man had their own, and then once in a while
they would kind of
both would cross and it'd be a big moment, and then it'd be like, all right, we'll see you when we see you, and they would go on in both ways. And you know that, like you said, the animated series went bonkers with everything. It went with Shield. They went with, you know, the Beyonder, like you mentioned it. They went with the Goblin arcs as well. And you posed the question of like, how long could this go, or how far will they go with this? My big thing about it right now is that hopefully they settle everything. And I haven't checked Twitter yet about the I don't know if it's a lawsuit with the Ditko family scenario. The estate. Hopefully everything like that goes well and both parties find a solution with it as well. And the thing about it now that is hopeful for me, at least, because I really, really like Spider-Man. Is he in my top 5 heroes for me? No, but I liked what he can do with on his own and what he could spun out. I mean, there's a reason why they put Miles Morales' uncle in Homecoming.
Yep.
They've been planning it for a reason. Like, all right, this is long term. We're not just doing, Tom Holland's 3 movies and that's it. Like, there's a feature to it, and there's more to it than just Peter Parker.
Right.
And I hope so. I hope so. That's the thing. It's like it's the hope that this shared, all the things that we're talking about right now, we just have to actually hope that that's what they're trying to do. And it's not like if, there's other smart people outside of this that are just like, hey, man, this could work. And then someone's like, oh, I didn't even know that's what we were doing. Oops. And then hey, we're doing a Craven movie and we're not trying to, connect anything. And I remember, Sam, you brought up a good point with having Craven showing up, hunting Peter Parker.
Right.
As a way to introduce him for his film. So those are all good ideas. So I'm just really hoping that, what's her name? Amy Pascal, who's the president over there at Sony. Hopefully them and their team are actually pulling off a Feige right now, taking notes. You see, they just released that MCU book on how they made the whole timeline. I don't know if you guys heard about that. They released that timeline book. It's like $150 or something like that.
For 10 years, right?
So they need to go and buy that book, come back and apply some of that stuff to this, because all those ideas are great. And I feel like it could really work well, especially with Spider-Man being someone so strong on his own already. As a character on his own, he's so strong and he can do so many things, and there's so many ways to go with it. And like you said, Sam, earlier with the whole symbiote story, that goes deep. It goes deep.
His whole lore is deep. That's the unique thing that I always I respect Spider-Man and I respect his rogues gallery. I would go out and say that it matches Batman's rogues gallery. There's so much more to Spider-Man than just Venom and the Goblins, or specifically the Osborns. Right. Now we haven't gotten the Osborns yet in the MCU and that stuff, but they've been doing it for the past 2 iterations of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, but there's so more to it like that. The fact that they brought Shocker in the Homecoming, that was like, all right, they're willing to go out beyond those boundaries.
Yeah, we need Hammerhead. We need Hammerhead next.
Hammerhead,
So this is the funny thing, and I guess I'll pose this as a question, and then I'll also answer something that Matt asked before. Where are the limitations here? I think that eventually we're gonna get some form of a live action Spider-Verse situation. I think it's eventually going to happen. I don't know if it's 10 years from now. I don't know if it's maybe 4 years from now, but I think it's eventually going to happen. Absolutely. Like Spider-Gwen, Miles Morales, Ben Reilly, like some of these characters are so potent that there's no way Sony is not going to take advantage of them. But this is the thing that I'm going to say to you guys. If you think about Andrew's Rogues Gallery, if you think about Toby's Rogues Gallery, if you think about Holland's Rogues Gallery, if you add all those different villains together, right, you pretty much have everything that you could imagine. Like at some point or time, or even if you added Spider-Verse, add all those together. At this point now, we've seen pretty much all the different villains and characters. Now, after No Way Home, depending on how it ends, which I don't think is going to end conventionally. I think that somebody even put it in the chat that's going to end on a cliffhanger. I think personally, one of the if they do what I think they're going to do, I think that one of the Spider-Men is not going to make it, and I think that fundamentally the universe that Spider-Man is in is going to be completely changed to the point that it's going to be an amalgam and a shift, kind of like if you think of Crisis on Infinite Earth, what they did with CW channel, like how everything completely shifted and changed after that point. I think that this is going to be the same exact scenario for Peter Parker. And I think that it's going to be something that he does that's going to break something that's going to have to include a Madam Web. It's going to have to include a shift to a Spider-Verse scenario. Because I think that we think that No Way Home is a Spider-Verse movie. I don't think that's that. I think this is leading to us to that point. It's just, imagine how this movie is going to end. Think about it like that.
Oh, man.
It's crazy that you're... No, go ahead. Sorry.
Matthew. Go ahead, Matthew.
No, I was just gonna add a point to what you were talking about with Crisis. It's a sidebar, but it affected everything with Titans and Doom Patrol and everything. It's insane the effect that crossover had on those HBO Max shows. But
it wouldn't be surprising if like you said, that it's not Into the Spider-Verse film, but it's leading up to it. It's sort of my thing. That reminds me of how the Russo brothers kept talking about Civil War, or like we're using Civil War and we're telling the story, but we're preparing people for not just the inner conflicts between the characters, but how things will be for the next two films.
Right.
That way it doesn't just hit you right away. Oh, these two characters are meeting, or these 5 new characters are meeting. Cool. Get on with it with that. It's because it's the one thing that I applaud the MCU for the over 10 years they've been doing about making this universe. It's another thing, and I've heard people say, multiverse, what's that? It's like, well, there's different versions, and some people be like, that's too much for me. I can't dangle each web, and it's too much for me. That's the thing where it's like, all right, you have to, if you're doing multiverse, which they've said and they've been doing, that's something that's going to take time for people to adapt and not necessarily know the rules, but get used to it, to seeing 2 different versions of Peter Parker or 2 different versions of Doctor Strange, which, that's, it's a concept that we are used to it. We've been nurtured by it by now, but there's still a whole lot of people that aren't used to it. And it could be a jarring thing, which in the hands of both the MCU and Sony in a very collaborative form, it's not just making sure one is upping up the other, but it's just like, let's do what's best for these characters. They're too rich to just throw stuff at and make sure and hope that it sticks. But we have a whole audience that have been with us for 10 years. Let's give them the respect of trying stuff new that may not work or could work, but at least we are preparing for it, that we've thought about it wholeheartedly, and it's just taking a step.
I just thought of something really terrible, but it's gonna come out bad. So I guess I'll ask you guys, where does Tom Holland's Spider-Man go from this point? I have a reason why I'm saying this. I'll let y'all speak first.
Nah, Ronan, go ahead. I have something to say on that, but
I've been the most daring thing I could think of right now, because even though I've liked the past 2 films of Spider-Man in the MCU, it will be daring if he truly has no way home, that he goes to a different universe and it's just like, what the heck? Where's MJ? Where's Ned? And in this universe, Ned is not my best friend. He's the Hobgoblin. There's no MJ.
He's Miles' best friend.
Yes, or there's Miles' best friend, or there's no MJ. Who's Gwen Stacy for the? It's oh man,
So let me ask you your question, right? Are you talking about where does he go from post No Way Home, or
like if you think about
his role in the film?
If Tom Holland made another Spider-Man movie, whether it's an MCU or whether it's just with Sony specifically, where do you see his character, his version of Spider-Man going?
So for me, I see his character, because we can't forget this other thing that they're setting up too, which is legacy, right?
Yeah.
I see him more involved. Okay, so let me separate it in 2 parts. Let me get what I'm trying to say without going all over the place, because I'm scatterbrained like that.
Yeah.
So for Sony, if they were gonna go do their whole Sony universe thing, I don't really see too much. I don't know how they would have to do it, because as of right now, Tom Holland's Spider-Man is heavily reliant on the MCU and all the connections that was made within the MCU. So I don't even know if he even fits, because I feel like the Sonyverse is a lot more grittier and a lot more serious than Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Even though Tom Holland Spider-Man, I think, is my favorite Spider-Man. I can explain that later. But where I see him going in the MCU would definitely have to be Young Avengers and more MCU-related things, as Iron Man passing the torch on to Peter, because we've seen that heavily in Spider-Man Far From Home, where he was, Happy was like looking at him like a proud uncle, like, you're doing this, like you're taking control of this, you're looking like Tony, you're working with all this equipment, and you're becoming, independent. So with a little bit of financing and years of money, but we see that. So yeah, I don't really see much of a place for him too much in a Sony isolated universe with the MCU not involved. I don't really see too much.
Can I pose this scenario?
It's kind of the same thing I'm about to say. Go ahead.
Okay, my thing is now thinking about it now that it would be excuse my language. It would be ballsy that they do send him to the Sony universe and he's stuck there for a while, and they sort of in a way change it a little bit, but they honor the death of Spider-Man storyline. And young Miles Morales somewhere is either watching Tom Holland Spider-Man fight off these villains, and there's literally no way to beat him because there's so many of them. There's no way to beat him that he figures out that he has to go take them all back to the universe that they belong, and he has to go with them. And there's the last time he sees MJ, and there's an exchange and whatnot, and that's Miles Morales' moment where he sees that the guy he's been looking up to sacrifice himself, and he goes away to save this universe, and maybe that inspires him to put on the mask, and that's how we develop Miles Morales Spider-Man to now be the new Spider-Man. And it'd be very bonkers. It'd be very ballsy that they do it now. 5-6 years that we've had Tom Holland in the MCU, that they kill him off, and it's like Miles. Who's gonna take the mask?
Man, I don't think they can because at least kill him off right now, just simply because he hasn't left that big of a mark
imprint in
the MCU as a character. He's now getting his chance to figure out who he was, because the last two movies you saw him, the first one was like, I'm nothing without this suit, Mr. Stark. And the next thing you know, if you're nothing without the suit, you can't have it. So he's like, okay, he's still a baby. In Spider-Man Far From Home, he's now, he's like a little, middle schooler. He's trying new things out. He's trying to figure it out, trying to juggle a girlfriend while trying to do this. And and then I feel like No Way Home might be that step into adulthood that we need from him. I feel like we need to see more of a I guess I would say crazy side of him, or a more serious, independent, he's not just the dorky little kid that's in the Avengers. No, he is part of this new team. He has his own thing, his own brain. He can operate independently, and I feel like that stuff needs to be there, at least in my opinion, before we can pull the cord on him, because I think it'll be a little premature to do it so early, especially being so young. I don't know. I don't really see it working without him having a bigger imprint on the legacy of the story. But I see you itching, Sam. I see you itching.
I started this for a reason.
And sorry, Knight said this. Yeah. You didn't have that. That wasn't language, man. You good. Man.
Oh, my bad. I'm too much like Steve Rogers. I'm not from Brooklyn. I'm from North Hollywood, but that's my thing.
All right. So the reason why I asked that question is, to me personally, I don't see Tom Holland's Spider-Man or version of Spider-Man working in Sony's universe or whatever they're trying to build. I see that if you take away the fact that he's had 2 solo movies, but he's had two Avengers films, Civil War, where he's kind of seen a lot of sacrifice. Everybody he's known has either sacrificed themselves or put their life on the line. And I feel like by the end of this movie, he may not make it. Okay. And I wonder what they could do is say his Spider-Man doesn't make it, but a different Spider-Man does come. Now, I'm just going to pose this to you guys. So imagine a situation where in the middle of No Way Home, there's a sacrifice that happens, and Andrew Garfield's character is like, he's stuck in this place where Tom Holland's version was. And now we've got a fully realized adult Peter Parker that has gone through so much loss. Lost Gwen Stacy, lost everybody's known. He's not even been introduced to a Mary Jane at all. And now he has to not only overcome the situations on, the Sony's universe situation with the Spider-Verse scenario, but also now he has to step up as a adult Peter Parker as an Avenger. Now, I bring that to you guys' attention because if you think about it, he only had 2 movies.
Oh my God.
We don't know if he's under contract for another.
Sam.
On top of that, if Andrew Garfield does come back, which he at his age he easily could, imagine that Peter Parker, imagine that Spider-Man laying an imprint on an MCU or a Sony universe. I just posed that to you guys.
I will say this. I don't know if they got the balls to do that. Simply because as of right now, Tom Holland is a fan favorite from not only Sony fans but from Disney fans too.
Yeah.
And he's pulling in a lot of seats. Let's just be real. Tom Holland, Spider-Man is pulling in a lot of seats at the theaters right now.
He talked to both CEOs, right? When he temporarily left the MCU, he was like, "Guys, come on!"
He did,
and he really embodies the character. And I think people love, the little ongoing jokes that he spoils things and the little outside community that people have developed with him. So I don't know. Because, a lot of people love Andrew, but a lot of people didn't at the same time. I've met so many brothers and sisters that are just like, man, I don't really like this dude. I don't like Andrew Garfield. I thought he was kind of corny.
So
but for some reason, in terms of ratio,
right.
I've heard people say they didn't like his movies. But
yes, that's what I heard. Yeah.
Most people that look at him like from the geekiness to, his progression, where his character could go, it's always been like, no, he's the perfect Peter Parker. He's the perfect Spider-Man.
Can I give you a hot take? Give you a hot take.
Ooh,
this is a hot take for me.
Oh boy.
I don't think Andrew Garfield is a perfect Spider-Man.
Good.
I don't.
Okay.
And the reason being, I actually made a video on this, and I always reference this video that I made years ago because I still think my opinion stands strong on that. It all depends on the era of Spider-Man that you're looking at from the comic books. If you're looking at, young adult Spider-Man, or you're looking at more developed Spider-Man and things like that. I feel like Andrew Garfield, and I will say it, I feel like he was a little too cool for school for me. He didn't give me, he was like the quote unquote, like, he kind of gave me like popular kid vibes, like, the good looking popular kid. I don't know. I wasn't, for some reason, as I was watching, no matter how many times I watch it, I'm like, I'm not really getting Peter from this. I feel like this is like a cool kid trying to be dorky.
To be fair,
that's how I feel about Tom Holland's character. That's so weird.
On the contrary, I feel the opposite.
Because like Tom Holland's character doesn't strike me as geeky. Like, he doesn't take pictures. Like, he isn't like an introvert. Like, he isn't. He's socially awkward and he has quips as Spider-Man. As Spider-Man, he has these quips. But when I look at him in a high school environment, it doesn't. I mean, outside of Flash, saying what he says, like, nothing seems like he's socially awkward at all. And like, I was like, I was waiting for the second movie. I was like, okay, let me see where this guy really is. Like, no, like, he actually is good looking. Like, everybody generally likes him. And that's never been Peter Parker's bag ever in any other kind of. So that's why I kind of was like, well, for me, it was like Tom Holland. It didn't work. When I look at like the Amazing Spider-Man, especially the first one, like, I was like, yeah, I can see like this is a geek in this era. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is somebody that is a social outcast. Yeah, he looks good, but he doesn't feel or look at himself like that. It's so weird. What
have you seen Bronson? Have you seen any of the other amazing, weird Tom Hardy movies?
Yes, I have. I've seen all of them.
He can go any age, the distance to have beef with.
It's true.
That was amazing. I can't believe it. Beef with a kid. That is true. That's a good point, though.
That's like a good comment. Yeah. I
don't know. I want the journalist job.
That is actually the journalist
job. Yeah.
I feel like with look, just because I feel like teen Spider-Man has always been like my favorite Spider-Man in the comic books and his runs, I can see that. I think that's why I like Tom Holland a little bit more. But if you actually really look at it, and I'm thinking about it, and you're talking about the geekiness and socially awkwardness, and just, man, nothing beats Tobey Maguire when it comes to that. When it comes to the awkward, like, literally, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is so beyond the cringy. He is so beyond, like, you can, and it works.
It's weird because it's weird because I feel, and it's weird because the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 films with Andrew Garfield, I didn't see him in theaters. I have good memories of them. I don't have good memories of them, and I've seen bits and pieces of it, and they weren't calling to me to go see them. I'm happy for those who connected with them, but they weren't calling for me. I grew up with Tobey.
I'm with you.
The weird thing is that as a kid, I didn't see that was a 30-year-old, 40-year-old man trying to play a freshman college kid who just graduated high school. Right. It's weird where I feel the writing and the elements of the Raimi films are perfect for the character's essence.
That's it.
But Tom Holland looks more like a kid than any of those two other guys.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
It's like that should be here and here, and it's
Right.
very, very, very fascinating.
Honestly, like Andrew Garfield didn't give me high schooler. He gave me I'm about to graduate college. That's kind of what he gave me.
Yeah.
So and I guess, like I said, it kind of goes back to my own bias to Teen Spider-Man. But also, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was the first comic book movie I ever saw. I'm born in the late '90s, so that's the first movie. And I'm 20. I'm 24. I'm 24 years old. So Sam, look, my knees are cracking every single day. As soon as I get up, my knees crack. I'm with you, okay?
Look, hey, when you get you know that the weather is about to change and your knees start cracking, then talk to me.
No, but that's exactly what's going on though. Like you feel it's cold. Look, I'm in my house and I'm wearing freaking like sweats.
Man.
It's cool, dude. Like, man, I feel like I took on 40 decades of stress in like a year with this pandemic, man.
Hey, look.
But
Sam's like, no comment.
I came out of the pandemic with a kid, man. Look, I got a whole other kid. I got a whole other kid. So I've done some life. You can believe that.
Look, you win. You definitely win. You definitely win. But I'm creeping behind you. I'm creeping behind you. Don't worry. I'm creeping. I'm dragging basically because my kneecaps ain't forgiving. But to bring it back to Spider-Man. At least, hey, that's a funny thing too. Tom Hardy's kneecaps. What's gonna happen with that? Him trying to fight fight Tom Holland, this kid that y'all talking about in the comments, Mr. David.
So that's the reason why I said that I can see an adult Spider-Man going up against something like that. And that's the other thing that I was kind of saying is that unfortunately, the benefit of Tom Holland is that I can always see him as that high school kid. But I don't know if I can, in my head, displace him as eventually being an adult.
But I will add to that. Have you sorry to say that, but have you seen what was the name of the movie? The one he did on Netflix.
The Devil Within?
Have you seen that?
Okay.
The Devil All the Time?
I've seen The Devil All the Time. I've seen Apple TV Plus's Cherry.
Mm-hmm.
And,
seen that yet.
And I don't know if any of you guys seen The Impossible. Him as a kid.
Is that the natural disaster movie?
Yes. Tom Holland is an excellent actor. He is amazing. I can never take that away from him. The problem is that visually, I don't know if it's gonna be hard for me to look at him as an adult Peter Parker. Like maybe if it's under the right directors, but the way that the style that Watts is doing these films, it's gonna have to be completely different. It's gonna have to be a completely different director, and the tone's gonna have to be completely different. Now, granted,
Scott Derrickson.
If Sony is taking this up, then maybe, but I don't know.
It's
gonna be hard for me to look at it like that.
It's weird for me because a lot of it has to do with like that to me is that I get what you're saying visually, but acting as well. I feel like that plays a big role in how I view a character because I've seen I watch a lot of K-drama, a lot of Korean dramas on Netflix and stuff like that. Same. And I keep forgetting her name. Well, I know. Yeah, I forget you be all up in that too. I forgot her name, but she stars in Itaewon Class, very famous Korean actress, and she's 30 years old. Mm-hmm. Granted, a lot of people I know in Korea, their genes are blessed. Ooh, all right, so they be young forever. Mm-hmm. My friend's in his 40s. I got a friend in his 40s. He just looks young forever. But the thing is, they had her play a high school kid as a 30-year-old, and for me, she looked more like a 16-year-old because of how she presented herself and how she acted. And also, too, it's weird, but I think her name is Diane Guerrero from
Doom Patrol?
From Doom Patrol. Yeah.
She's a goddess.
Man, she's great. But, like, whenever she played
Baby Doll, yeah,
all I saw was a little kid.
Right.
Even though it's a grown woman playing her, she's in her 30s. All I felt was that was like a child. So I feel like if the acting is done well enough, that Tom Holland and the direction and depending on the tone and the types of settings that they place
the tone is absolutely. I think that's it.
Yeah.
The two moments that I feel for me that symbolize young high school Peter Parker, which I rarely read because I grew up with the animated series in the 90s. By that time, he was in college. To me, the most high schoolish moments from these past two films and any of the films that Tom Holland's been in the MCU is when he's helping the community at the beginning of Homecoming, where he's getting the bicycle, he's helping out the old lady with the directions, and he says, "I got a churro," and somebody gave me a churro, and whatnot. And when he starts lifting off the rocks, and he's like, "Come on, Spider-Man, come on!" Like those were the two moments. I'm like, okay, there he is. We finally got him. We finally got high school Peter Parker as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Everything else, he's traveling to Europe and whatnot, and it's like, if there was no pandemic, I'm in my college years right now. I would have been doing that right now, and I don't look like I'm a high schooler. And so that's where I hope that's like the interesting part of what's going to happen these next few years is just the writing, the tone, and the direction is going to have to be more tighter with whatever direction they go, whether it's switching ages or switching even Spider-Man as well. It's going to have to be tied because it's going to go like that, the flip, if they do it.
Yeah.
And this is a sidebar to add to that. I think one of the other issues I've had with, because nothing against Andrew Garfield, him in A Social Network, still I think one of his best performances.
Have you seen Hacksaw Ridge?
I did.
Oh man,
dude, I thought that was one of his best.
Have either of you seen Silence?
I haven't seen. I haven't
dude,
seen that.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, no, I haven't
him
seen
and
that.
Adam Driver killed that. Like that movie deserves a lot more praise because that was an underrated performance. Like they let their bodies just waste away, bro. Like that was a rough ride.
Andrew's a straight up G. Okay, so I got nothing against. I'm not trying to siphon anything from his talent. We all know he's talented.
Yeah.
But the issue that I had, I think, with the Amazing Spider-Man films, I love the costume, love some of the things with the tone, the direction, the action. Obviously, Hans Zimmer. Okay, I saw this meme the other day because Hans Zimmer is one of my favorite composers, and I'm currently taking his master class on masterclass for composing because I'm trying to get more in. I'm trying to get more into the composition field, which and stuff like I'm trying to expand into that area. I've always wanted to do that, by the way, guys. But but the funny meme I saw was that he always makes fire tracks or trash movies. But anyway, so with the Amazing Spider-Man, all of those things are great. But one of the issues I had was I felt that that Spidey was too sad for me. I felt like he was a little too depressing for me, and I dealing with Uncle Ben is something that Spidey always has to deal with if you're doing an origin story. And I think one of the things I appreciated about Homecoming was that we didn't have to revisit all of that again. We can focus on him just being Spider-Man. And don't get me wrong, I love the heart of Spider-Man when it comes to the comic books and some of the things he's dealt with in the comic books, being a human. And I think his stories are some of the best when it comes to dealing with being an everyday person, also being a hero at the same time, like having to pay rent, having your rent always due and always late, and having to work a job, trying to get through college, whatever. Even in the Spider-Man game, it was great. But I don't know. For some reason, Andrew Garfield, I don't know. Just from how I remember, I would have to rewatch it, but just from how I remember it, it's just.
We should do a watch party. We should. You should do a watch party on the Amazing Spider-Man, because when I think about the Amazing Spider-Man, I think the first time like he's legit like chasing somebody down, like he's got this guy cornered, and he's like throwing like webs at him, like sneezing at him, like he's talking this man up, like he's just playing with him. But then I think even the second one, there's a moment where him and Gwen Stacy are like at an elevator and she's trying to get away and he's doing all these comedical things and just acting goofy, but really he's a G with it. I think that when he's Spider-Man, he is actually legitimately funny, but the emotive parts of it, he's such a good character, emotive actor that you feel all the heartstrings, all the more things that I guess to me shape a good Spider-Man in the comics. Like he's doing all of it emotively in these two movies that to me structurally they were, I hate to say it, I hate to make the comparison, this was kind of a Snyderverse situation. Both of those movies were crippled. Like the storyline was messed up. It was redesigned. It was torn apart. Things were removed. Like I think the second movie even had like a Mary Jane. You never even knew. There's a deleted scene. There's a deleted scene in the joint where Peter found that his dad's still alive. Like there's so many different things that he just cut the movie apart. But I think for me, like when he's Spider-Man, he's actually hilarious. Like I'll never forget, as cheesy as it was, that Rhino scene at the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2 was so freaky. I hated Paul Giamatti as Rhino. But that moment was one of the best Spider-Man sincere moments that you've ever seen. And this is after Gwen Stacy's already died. Like he kind of was like, this little kid kind of goes up there and he's like, oh, I appreciate you, little man. I got this from here. Then he kind of like, it's like, y'all ready? All right, let's go. He's hyping it up. Like, so what I'm saying is that I think that Andrew didn't get his just reward in terms of the way this was directed or crafted as the films. But I think that his ability of playing a great Spider-Man, I think is there.
I'll take it back. I'll take back some of what I said because now you're saying that I'm remembering some things, but we should schedule that. We should schedule that watch party because now we got to schedule it because there's a lot I don't remember from that film, to be honest. I think what I do remember, I haven't seen it in such a long time. Yeah. I think the last time I saw it, I was like starting high school or something. Like it was a long time since I see those movies. So, and I think the only reason I didn't go back and watch it because it's the same reason why I never went back and watched Bridge of Terabithia again. Okay, I watched it one time, and that's it.
I was in the theaters and I saw that movie, right? And I'm sitting there, I got all these little kids around. I can't remember who. I think I just wanted to see it myself. I think I was with one of my friends. I was bawling, crying. I was like, oh, man. No, man. Like, that movie destroyed me, bro.
I haven't seen it since. I'm forever salty about that film. And when it comes to Amazing Spider-Man 2, I was like, man, I was getting hype. I was lit. I'm like, okay, some of these things are cool. Like, I'm digging it. Like, and then next thing you know, this happened, right? This comment, bro. But this happened.
Yeah. Who did that? Who wrote that?
David.
Yo.
He put that as soon as you were talking about the Ben Parker moment, his father moment. I'm like, oh, this is not the time.
I didn't even see it. I was sitting there just so passionately talking.
Yeah.
I'm crying. I'm literally crying. But
look, on that note though, look, y'all
was
cannot
salty
deny.
Forever. I was salty. I'm still salty. I remember watching that movie and I was just like, I was so
this movie.
Yeah, look, I was pissed. I didn't want to. I'm done because I'm like, bro, how you gonna kill Gwen like that? But then I know, and then I did some research after that. Then I was like, oh shoot, this happened in the comic books. Oh well,
that was
like
accurate
to it. And it's the weird thing. If you look at the Tobey Maguire, like Spider-Man 3, the funny thing is the setup is exactly the same, but she doesn't die.
Yeah.
And I was kind of just like, I was like, I went back and I relooked and I was like, yo. Like, I don't know, man. As a Spider-Man fan, like that moment, it hurt. It really did hurt. Because she was such a great Gwen Stacy, man.
I think
to me, I was kind of like, who needs Mary Jane? We got Gwen. Like, honestly, like low-key, for the first time, I was like, forget Kristen Dunst's character. Like, I love Gwen Stacy. I love her as a character, generally.
Kristen Dunst, the Scream Queen?
Look,
well,
we're not going to go down that route. I'm just saying that their chemistry was perfect, but her as a character is a solid. And this is the funny thing. Imagine a situation where she kind of comes in the fray, right, as like a Spider-Gwen. That would be the craziest, funniest deep cut of a situation where like she comes back, but she's from a different universe. In her universe, she's Spider-Gwen.
That would be bonkers, man. That would be bonkers.
I would flip out in the theaters.
The father scene, Sam, was that cut from the movie or was that in the movie? Because I seen that scene with his father.
Deleted scene, bro, and it's one of the best acted.
Yes.
Scenes, because the thing is, like, the Webb was saying that he was building on the animated series. You remember the animated series where Peter Parker's parents were spies?
Yes, and with S.H.I.E.L.D., I believe.
That's what he was building towards, and instead. What is my man's name that I hate? Avi Reed cut and sliced that movie up told him like, do this, do that, do this, and I was like, why y'all still listening to this cat, bro? So anyway, I still sore about that, man. But y'all got me all passionate talking about Spider-Man.
That scene was beautiful.
Go for it. Like
I'm good.
I'm trying to find the. I'm trying to find. Look, if we don't get these photos, if I see I can find it real quick, I'm trying to see if I can share my screen. If we don't get these photos for MJ and Tom Spider-Man, hold on. You share the screen real quick. See if I can get this up on there. If we don't get this portrait with them standing next to,
oh man,
because Toby Maguire and Thing did a similar poster too when they were like this. So I feel like there it is. Look, there it is.
It's it's an amazing. It's weird because I was so torn even as a kid of like, well, is it MJ or is it Gwen? Because I always heard and vividly read that Gwen was, that was his lady, that she was the girl with the go-go boots. They were gonna get married and whatnot. And then if you read into the comics, they retcon some stuff where she did some not so cool things with Green Goblin, which that's another story for another time. But yeah, that was the weird thing. I'm like, well, okay, the MCU brought back MJ. Mm-hmm. Is Gwen gone forever? Are we only waiting for her in the Into the Spider-Verse sequel? What's gonna happen? So Emma Stone, right, is a Plater, right?
Yeah.
Please come back. Put the suit on. Kick some ass. Do it.
We got Busy Braun in the building. So have Mr. Busy Braun come in here and add a fourth voice. Busy.
Hey, yo.
What's going on, man? What's going on, Busy?
Sounds good, dude. It's been a minute, man.
Yeah. How you guys doing?
Man, just geeking out on Spider-Man.
Yeah, I saw the notification.
Post-credit scene.
I had to
like, man.
Oh,
chill out
man,
curling, man.
It was great. I mean, I went nuts when I saw that right away. I mean, it's so hard to stay away from spoilers and everything, but I was beyond excited.
So So before I ask you a question, introduce yourself for those who don't know you. Go ahead.
My name is Busy Braun. I am a reactor. I have. I think we just hit 17K on YouTube, and
let's go.
We're almost at 90K on TikTok. So
let's go.
Nice, pretty good. Yeah,
well done.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm trying.
Hey, bro, do or do not. There's no try. Just get it.
Of course.
Get that bag, Busy.
This is the way.
That's just the way. So did you actually see Venom 2 yet or no?
Oh, I saw it. Yeah. I saw it,
okay.
Yeah, on Friday.
Would you? I mean, I know we kind of discussed a little bit of the spoil. Just the general.
I think I joined like right after you guys slowed down on it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was all right. I mean, I know a lot of people had their thoughts about it, but personally, I was just excited to see Carnage on screen. I mean, of course, Carnage is one of my favorite characters, specifically due to how brutal he is in the comics and just everything there. I mean, and Woody Harrelson, when we found out he was joining the cast, I mean, that was something I was excited about on its own. I mean, Woody Harrelson. He's amazing. I mean, I've been watching him since I was a kid with Cheers and everything. So, I mean, seeing it in Zombieland and everything. I mean, it's just, I love the dude. And I think he did a really good job as Cletus Cassidy,
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So, all right, your thoughts on the post-credit, everything. What are your thoughts on all that? Any theories you got? Any insight stuff that we might have missed?
Yeah, I want to watch it again. I do. I saw it. I mean, I tried to rewatch it, but of course, it's not the same feeling when you watch it on like a cell phone, recording and the screen's crooked and it looks like, I don't know, just it's not the same. But I was excited. I mean, we got to learn a little more about Venom in that short period of time of him talking about the Hive and just everything, with his memories and just everything. And then just seeing how they tried to bring him into the MCU or whatever they did there was pretty interesting to me. I mean, I got excited with that. I mean, it kind of reminded me of the whole Blip situation with strangers being put in scenarios where, like Tom Hardy being put into a random stranger's hotel. Kind of reminded me of the whole Aunt May situation being thrown into her apartment, which was bought by someone else since it's been 5 years. I mean, I just thought there were some similarities all over the place. I enjoyed it.
Right. Busy, did you hear any of our theories that we talked about?
No, I didn't hear. I think I joined right when you guys were. I think it was right at the comment about Thanos, or Gwen snapping harder than Thanos. I think that was right when I joined.
Jesus.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Shut your mouth.
David,
Oh man, I cannot.
Combo attack.
David.
Yo, David
Chris
need to get
Bell
out of here,
energy.
bro.
Oh my god.
He need to get out of here. Did any of y'all have a problem with the fact that Carnage and Cletus were not on the same page versus how they are in the comics?
A little bit.
Well, yeah, but that's, I guess, what you get when you don't have enough time to set him up. I mean, I definitely would have loved for him to stick around long. Because, I mean, I would have, of course, I don't expect them to have a Carnage and Spider-Man type crossover. But, I mean, if they gave him time, I feel like we would have seen them more on the same page, you know?
So, one thing that we didn't talk about, we talked about a lot of different things. I said that the blip that was happening with, Venom was a Spider-Verse scenario. It wasn't necessarily a Doctor Strange one in No Way Home. But one thing I was going to say is that everything that's happened in Venom 1 or Venom 2 at this current point don't matter. It's not necessarily retcon, but it's going to be effectively completely different by the end of whatever happens after No Way Home. So, Ronan has said it that they can easily bring him back. And I kind of was like, why y'all kill him for? And then I was like, oh, well, it doesn't matter because now you can add him not only to the MCU or to whatever Sony's building towards, but Venom technically have his own Venom verse as well. Like that's actually part of the comics as well. So yeah.
Didn't all the other symbiotes put Spider-Man on trial at one point?
Yep.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
I think
pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think they all put him on trial for something. I think I briefly read that run.
I'm more excited to see Carnage return to his glory and find a laptop and just hack it with his finger and just browse to someone's history and whatnot. That's what I'm more excited about. To see that ridiculous thing. That was what I was more concerned about. I'm like,
you know what? Okay, I kid you not. I sometimes I wish I can carry like a camera in these theaters when I'm watching this junk because I was sitting there. I was like, when that happened, I was like, hold up.
You went Super Saiyan.
How did this man just like plug himself into the computer and
literally jacked into the?
And he had his own UI too, bro. He had his own user interface and everything. Like, this man had his own like day one patch for Windows 11. Like he had his own thing.
That was glorious.
That was super new to me. That did catch me off guard when I saw that. I'm not gonna lie.
Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So I don't know what they were.
I'm pretty sure when they first did it, he turned his finger into a key, which made more sense to me. But the man hacked the computer with his like veins or something. I'm like, yo, this is different. Yeah, I can get behind this.
Yeah, I guess one thing I never talked about in my spoiler review is that I didn't like the fact that they showed and said that Cletus or Carnage recognized Venom as his dad, but they didn't play off of that as much as they could have. Because the whole concept, like, oh, wait, you can bite a little bit of Eddie and some of his blood will create a whole nother symbiote. How? You know what I'm saying? Like, because even what they did in the first movie, it was kind of like, wait, they didn't even talk about these things being able to reproduce. And I was kind of like, this is a great opportunity for y'all to go somewhere with this. And that concept, especially with the cop, because the cop ends up being toxin in the comics. And I was like, they're building towards that. But then I was like, the movie ended. And I was like, okay, now that everything has been changed, they can add that later on. You got a super chat. Nice.
Yeah. Shout out to GGZ Movies. Thank you so much for the super chat. Said Venom in the MCU. Multiverse is literally here. Yeah, man. We got a lot of incoming crazy stuff with this.
Well done.
So many theories. But the whole thing with Cletus biting the blood and everything, the only thing that I could think of that could possibly make sense to me is that it just found a way to hack over its DNA and just kind of make more of itself. And just
that's kind of how I saw it.
So that's kind of the only thing I can think about.
It reminded me of the Amazing Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 with the whole the spider changing Peter's DNA entirely. Where if somebody else has his blood, it might I guess cure them of whatever they have, that was the theory that they had there. So, I mean, if it could, change his DNA, then I guess that could be a possibility. But I don't like how they didn't touch it.
Damn,
Can't believe Carnage actually. Oh my god.
another hit. These comments are amazing. Oh my
yeah,
god.
comment, man.
Yeah, you got some jokesters in your subscribers,
That's
man.
what I kept scratching my head. I'm like, is that from the comic where he just bites somebody's
No,
blood?
no.
And like, I'm like, was that a cop out?
I mean,
because I would read it into the serum scenario with Captain
Right.
America, where it's like it enhances more of somebody is. Okay, Cletus is a psychopath and a killer. All right, he's gonna Carnage. This iteration of the symbiote is gonna go haywire, and
Yeah,
you know,
what I thought it was gonna be was that, you know, Venom at that time, he was like, no, I want to do more. I want to bite heads. Like, I felt like Venom was building up to something where he wanted to go and kill, and Eddie wasn't listening. And a small part of his, you know, the bad part of him, like the part of him that wanted to be unleashed, was gonna be pushed over. And he didn't even know it subconsciously. But they didn't do anything about it. Like, he was just like, oh, it's a red one. Oh, I'm scared. Like he goes to a rave instead of like, oh wow, I just spawned off another part of myself that I can feel is killing people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I would feel like he would be able to feel what's happening. But
what did you guys think about that whole speech?
Oh, I mean, I feel like it was just going a whole different route. I mean, the way they were explaining it, it just seemed like the audience he was talking to, it wasn't like the audience you think it was for, you know?
Yeah.
And right before he had the speech, he made a comment like it's time for me to get out of the Eddie closet or something like that. Yeah. So I didn't know where it was going, and I didn't want to assume, but I mean,
you could read it multiple ways, and either way, for me, I'm not, you know, I'm straight. I'm not, you know, to me, it didn't bother me. It didn't throw me off. I knew about the rave scene because it was the thumbnails kept blowing up, you know, days before I went to go see the movie. So I'm like, I thought that was going to be a promotional item for somebody's soundtrack. I guess not. I guess it's part of the movie. Let's see what happens. And I'm like, okay, cool. Venom is having a moment to like express himself. That's characteristic. That's, you know.
Oh yeah.
Heroic gangsters.
It kind of reminded me of the Ninja Turtles when you see Mikey come out of the ground and he's like so happy that he's able to wear a costume with all the civilians. And he was actually able to like fit in with the crowd, and Venom was actually able to talk without people getting scared because, you know, that's just what.
That was a big thing for him too.
Yeah. I definitely think that it was all. I mean, the whole entire movie tied. I think they kind of doubled down on it a little bit, but it all was about Venom and Eddie's relationship. And I mean, for good or bad, you know, like they went for it, but I don't know. Like, it was certain things I was kind of like, there's things that they can focus on, and I feel like there's certain things they shouldn't, because honestly, did y'all feel like some stuff was cut out from the Carnage scenes? When a lot of the chaos was happening.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I swear there's a whole sequence here that
did you see that body? The body, like right before he stole the car. The body that was on the ground, I'm like, nah, man, that had to be a crazy scene before that, because that was like his first, like, besides the prison thing, that was like his first outside of the prison kill.
I really hope there's like an unrated cut, man. Seriously,
man, I hope so, man. Just for the culture, because
it's
like
Carnage, like
right.
I mean, and I put a hero gangster, y'all. I don't know where y'all coming from with these comments tonight.
I am Gotham's reckoning. Oh,
that was literally an issue I had actually in the film, just because I think, and Sam, I think that's why most of those jokes kind of flew over my head, because I don't know, just maybe the IMAX theater that I go to is just ratchet, and like they don't upgrade their speakers or something, because I know they're supposed to go and test these IMAX theaters every month or so. So like, I don't know if they just didn't update it or something, but for some reason, like, I'm right behind the speaker too. Anyways, maybe it's the lower frequencies. I don't know. But for some reason, I'm like, this is me the whole time, trying to listen to some. What did he say? And I'm like, because I had to watch the first movie with subtitles. Like, when I rewatched it, I had to put subtitles on, because I'm like, okay, if I did not put subtitles on, I would have not heard that.
Nah, my theaters, the speakers were literally making us bleed. Like, them things were loud, and we were all the way in the back too. So, like, it was crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. I could definitely understand the dialogue, but it's just sad. Like, I think that the movie itself had to be the sacrificial lamb to allow the progression to Spider-Man. And I really do. Like, I felt like, because Andy Serkis had said like a year and a half ago, he was like, no, this is going to be rated R. We're going to completely go for it. This is going to be your version of Carnage. And technically it was, but I think they sacrificed it because they knew, okay, the only way we can get Tom Hardy's Venom to even connect to a Spider-Man is to, I mean, imagine if it was completely rated R and just completely gory, and then at the end of it, we see Spider-Man.
Hey, everyone.
None of those kids would have even seen that. Like, most of the, I understand why they did it. It just sucks for us that are Carnage purists that want to see him completely unleashed. Or if anything, allow him to have his own movie. Like, you end this movie with him not dead, and he getting his own spinoff feature film, much like the Joker or something like that. Like, I think that would have been even more interesting. But
it's like making Deadpool. It's like making Deadpool PG-13. I don't think it, like, which is what they did with some of the stuff, but like I don't think it can truly work. Or making it PG like Deadpool.
Yeah,
it's like specifically because we already seen Deadpool in the form that we love him as. We already seen those 2 rated R films. So if they try to downgrade it, it just doesn't feel right. And the thing is, it's like I love that the movies connect. I do. And the thing is, a lot of these people that watch like the MCU movies, a lot of them watch some of the other stuff, such as the Netflix shows, which are a little bloody, and The Boys. I know a lot of people that watch The Boys. So I mean, I feel like, they don't need to go full on boys over here, but I mean, a little blood isn't going to kill nobody, specifically for a PG-13 movie. I mean, I feel like it's meant for people that are, older. People are over here watching. They're bringing their 8-year-olds to see these movies, and I'm just like, yo.
But a lot of the sorry, running good.
I was gonna say, even if Deadpool was in a PG-13 film, he would comment about it and be like, they would have a censor word, and it would be, it'd be the Mickey Mouse sound effect or soundbite, and be like, what the. And you see Goofy laughing or whatnot, and be like, "Are you for real?" Did the budget go down? Yeah, I could see that, and I would want to hear that joke. But
I want to see that now.
Yeah, JVS, that the Invincible.
Dude,
boy, that's a whole beast. Yeah, Invincible series.
Give me a train sequence with Carnage all day.
I can't believe they got away with that.
Give it to me,
man. I didn't even finish it yet. Shame on me, right?
Oh, you didn't finish it?
Finished it?
No, because let me explain, right? So, fiance and I were doing reactions. We're doing reactions to it. Hear me out. We were doing reactions to it. Literally, I know that meme though, but like we were moving to this location now around that time, so like we just didn't have any time to film, and then after that, then we have to plan the wedding. And then everything just started getting crazy, and then it was just like, so we just didn't get a chance to get back to it. But I do plan on finishing it, though. Unfortunately, I wish we had more time to do it.
You'll love it.
Where did you stop? What was the last episode?
We were close to the end. I think we were like around 5 or something like that.
What was that thing you remember?
Omni-Man and his wife trying to act like they didn't have sex in the house.
Wow.
Hey, yo, you got ways to go, man.
You're not ready. You're not. He's not ready, y'all. Y'all know
Martin Lawrence style.
Their relationship is extremely healthy. So yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch.
You're not ready, bro. Prepare your heart.
We'll see. I mean, do you think I should even still react to it at this point, or should I just watch it?
Yes.
What's that question?
Oh, even if you don't want to go through the time with editing, definitely film yourself.
Anything that can. Anything that can help the franchise of Invincible be well more known to pop culture is a plus.
We already got 2 and 3 coming our way. Seasons 2 and 3 have already been confirmed. So, I mean, you got time until season 2 drops. So, I mean, if you want to watch it and then not even edit for a couple months, but definitely record yourself. Like,
man,
some scenes are beyond. They're just phenomenal, man.
Yeah,
some superhero shows are just way too chicken. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Don't worry about it. You're good. Don't worry about it. Yeah. No. Okay. So yeah. No, I mean, I'll edit it. I'll probably get to that stuff in like 3 weeks or so once all this wedding stuff settled down, man.
Yeah, take your time,
that's been the craziest thing. So.
Just don't watch it during the honeymoon. Don't do that, because that's gonna be heartbreaking. Don't watch it during the honeymoon. Wait, like afterwards.
I am shutting off all of my like devices and everything. Because I spend too much time behind this computer. I need to be away from like the world because I need like a minute. There's always some troll on Twitter. There's always somebody that's got to say something to.
But it's serious. If you've avoided spoilers this long, you should be fine. I mean,
I have. I mean, I've seen bits and pieces of the train sequence as like gifs and stuff. I don't think I actually seen, or I don't have the context. I've also seen some of the other memes, like some of the Hotep memes with Omni Man at the car.
Oh,
I've seen this one too. I've seen the one with I keep forgetting his friend with the phone. I've seen that.
Oh
one.
yeah.
So I've seen it. I have no context to it, but I've seen some of the memes. So I mean, I'll get to it. I almost bought like they had like this really big. It was about this thick at the comic book store around me.
The omnibus,
Invincible.
Yeah,
the omnibus. Yeah, man. I was gonna pick it up too. I was like, should I drop like $70 on this right now?
Yeah, I bought the Compendium 1 because it was during Free Comic Book Day, and it was like $40. It was like $20 off. So I was like, crap. Yeah, no way, I'm buying this. So I just went for it.
I'll get back to it. But taking it back to Carnage, and I'm just looking at the time. How are you guys on time? Because I don't want to go over anybody's time. So taking it back to Carnage, there wasn't so a lot of the head biting scenes and all that stuff, because it didn't have to be overly gory, but a lot of the head biting scenes, it was more implied than anything else. And then as soon as they were about to show it, they just cut the scene away.
Yep.
And it's like you can literally do it from a different angle, but it was just implied. And I think that's what just kind of annoyed me a little bit. It was just, I don't think it was like they were really violent with each other, obviously, because they're CGI characters. You can kind of get away with the fact that they don't actually have blood, and at least how they do it in the movie. So I don't know, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
Yeah,
I love those guys.
I think the way I look at it is like, say, Marvel did have Carnage borrowed, right? No matter what, they wouldn't. It'd be the same situation, unfortunately. Now they might find clever ways of doing certain things, but like maybe a police officer with tactical gear, and it goes. But I think it'd be the same situation, unfortunately. Carnage is a certain character that you're gonna have to do him with his own thing. And I don't know if we'll ever see a fully unleashed Carnage with the Spider-Man in the same exact token. Not while it's going on like this. What the word? Carnage should at least.
I don't think I'm educated enough to know what this comment means.
I'm done.
No comment.
I'm done. I don't got nothing to say.
Yeah. MVA squad, what y'all doing to me today, man? we supposed to be respectful people in this comment on this channel, okay?
Oh my god.
Just to bring it back. These comments, man, I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying to keep it together. Y'all not giving me any help. Mr. As a matter of fact, I'm calling you out too. David and Heroic Gangster. Y'all two like the two class clowns, and the teacher's trying not to laugh, but y'all are here just making everybody y'all ridiculous. I feel like a solo film to add to it, I feel like a solo film would do it more justice, at least just separate it from whatever they're trying to do with the continuations and all that stuff. I feel like that would work better, period. So I do have a question. In fact, a bit busy. I don't think you got a chance to answer this. It was a great question that GVS asked earlier, was about where do you see Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man, where do you see him after this, like going forward?
Like after No Way Home?
Did I word that question right?
After No Way Home. Like, where does his character go?
Well, like, do you mean like character wise, or like Sony Marvel wise? Like,
so no, I mean in general, like if say hypothetically speaking, he's going just Sony, period. Okay. Or if he's going to continue in the same stride where he's kind of straddling both, where does Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man go moving forward? Because I had another comment about a different Spider-Man that I saw, it could make a totally different leap. But I was just curious from your perspective, where do you see Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man going?
Well, I mean, honestly, I mean, Sony seems like they're trying to be super involved with everything MCU related. I mean, with Morbius and Michael Keaton popping up in the trailer, and then we have, of course, the whole Venom post-credit scene. As much as I would love Tom Holland to stay in the MCU, I really don't want it to be sloppy. Like, if Sony wants their money so badly to the point where they're just telling the MCU that this needs to be done in order for Tom to stay over here, I don't really want that because I feel like it's going to be done sloppy. So if they need to bring him in the Sonyverse to the point where, I don't know. I don't know how to answer this. I mean, it's a little difficult.
So the thing is that Matthew, myself, and Ronan, it was hard for us to gauge this light of a Spider-Man working in the universes Sony's been building.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to see it. And so what I kind of posed was...
so that's what you're... Okay, so if you're leaning towards that end, the way I look at it, I feel like as they move forward, it can just get darker and darker. That way they can build up to something. Because if you think... He's still a kid. The man's not even a senior yet, right?
Yeah, no, not even.
The way I see it, it's like you got to think of other movies, for an example, where the movies can grow with the people watching.
Harry Potter.
Such as Harry... That's exactly what I was going to bring up. With Harry Potter, where I'm over here, like I reacted to the movies with my mom because I thought it would be a little fun series, and we checked out the first one, and she's like, "Oh, it's kind of what I thought it was going to be, a little kiddish." By the last one, it's just super dark, but they didn't rush into that. They kind of just like went slowly, and each movie there was a decent amount of time for you to get used to it, so they didn't rush into.
But to ask you a question on that, right? That's a good point. But I also have a question though, because to me, as long as Disney has control of this current Marvel Cinematic Universe that we know today, I feel, as much as I love it, and I absolutely love it for what it is, I will always feel that like the MCU is, especially where we're at right now, or any Disney project, whether it be Star Wars or whatever, it's catered to a younger audience, to kids. And I feel like it'll always be catered to kids, and it'll always be because like I can see this 10, 20 years from now with my kids, you know, or I plan to have kids sooner than that, but like, you know, within the next decade, I have kids, and, you know, we're still watching MCU movies. They're going to want to have, you know, let's say Shuri's the next Black Panther, right? They're going to want to have, you know, Black Panther stuff, or they're going to want to have like Moon Knight or Captain Marvel stuff or Miss Marvel stuff. They might want to have things like that. So, you know, because they're going to be plushies and Funko Pops, and so I don't know if they'll ever have the temerity to really get darker.
They've dipped their toes
in the MCU.
Maybe
dip their toes.
I think like they can definitely dip their toes. I mean, for an example, there are some scenes in the movies where I wouldn't say are necessarily for children, such as the Ronin scene in Endgame, where the man is literally slicing up people left and right. But of course, they didn't really show any gashes due to it being a Disney movie. But I feel like they need to take different leaps with certain shows, like Moon Knight, for an example. I don't want Moon Knight to be
especially Moon Knight.
I don't want Moon Knight to be a soft movie. Like shows, excuse me. Moon Knight needs to be a little brutal. It needs to kind of have that Daredevil tone. Daredevil tone. And Netflix did it right. People today are still gushing over Daredevil. They still love that. They call it a masterpiece, and it's because Netflix wasn't afraid. They did what they thought was good, and even Marvel or not, they did a fantastic job. And that's where I think with some Marvel projects, it doesn't necessarily need to be Spider-Man. I understand I would love it to be Spider-Man, but I feel like they would need to start off with other, like Black Widow would have been perfect, but I do understand her being a female character. They need to have at least a couple of them out there for and they wouldn't want one of their first solo female movies, other than, of course, I know it's not their first, but to be rated R, that would be awful. But they need to leave some other stuff. That's all I know.
That's why I think that even Marvel, look at it, it's more than just the PG-13 rating. You could do so much more with it, and DC as well. But it's like, look at how Marvel started. It was very grounded. The X-Men, the FF were freaks who tried their best to be celebrities. Spider-Man was a geek to himself and he didn't think people loved him as much. And there's room for that. Like, for example, Logan, for me, I think it might be my favorite superhero film. I don't think it would have been made in the Disney property, but that is a story you can tell. Doesn't mean everybody has to go watch it in many ways, but there is an audience for that. I think, to me, what Netflix did with those shows, that could exist in the MCU. You don't have to always go dark, but there are characters that do and should go down that route because they can explore thematic themes, whether it be self-belief, how Luke Cage sees America, or how Jessica Jones deals with trauma. There is room for that, and I think once Disney explores it, and because have their own, in Disney Plus, you could have these just for adults, or if you get approved from your parent or guardian, you can watch this. But there is room for that.
What do you think that Disney would call their section of adult genre?
It's gonna be Hulu. Because they own Hulu and just put everything on Hulu. I mean, honestly,
I was going to mention
they tried to do that with Hellstrom and that flopped. But then again, I mean, have you guys seen that Hellstrom?
So
no.
I'm gonna say this gently because I do a lot of coverage for Disney.
Okay.
I don't think during that time that they wanted Hellstrom to succeed, because 2 years or a year prior, man, I gotta be careful what I say.
Please.
Yeah.
The Ghost Rider show was initially greenlit.
I remember that
coming to Hulu along with Hellstrom, and at that time, Cloak and Dagger was on Freeform. At that time, Fox had a really dope X-Men show. They had a lot of things in the pipeline, but I think at that time, Feige was like, okay, now I am constructive manager, not just of the films, but also TV universe. I want us to build up our TV universe. I don't need any confusion about these other outside elements that we haven't retracked these characters. I think that in his head, or in their head, they wanted to recycle everything and start it brand new and fresh. In my personal opinion, if they would have just allowed these shows to continue and these franchises to continue, Netflix included, bruh, our pandemic life would be completely different. Like, we would have been going into a Daredevil season 4. We would have been going into so many different things and avenues that, in my opinion, a certain person that was leading all the Marvel TV stuff, I don't want to name his name because I might get in trouble. He knows television. He knows, because any of you guys has gone to Comic-Con events.
I'm going on Wednesday.
It's amazing going to like New York Comic-Con and like all of a sudden, this guy comes up like, "Oh, guys, I'm going to show you guys the first 2 episodes of such and such."
Oh, I remember that.
Like, He knows how to build hype because he understands the audience that looks at stuff on TV has expectations different than what they do on the movies.
Are any of you going to Comic-Con?
Huh?
Are any of you going to Comic-Con?
This year, no.
San Diego
next
or
year,
New York Comic-Con?
New York.
Nope, I have the reason.
Yeah. New York.
That's my reason this year.
I wish I can go to New York. I've always wanted to go to New York, but I may or may not be going to Special Edition Comic-Con at San Diego.
Oh, yeah, I just got my Pro Pass. It's my first time ever going to a con, so I'm super
Hey, well done, sir.
Bro. Congrats.
Wasn't
New York,
man.
or San Diego?
New York. I'm going to New York.
Nice. Oh.
I mean, I live in Mass. The Salem city.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
there's gonna be some big things there. So
why The Last Man?
As much coverage as you can.
Yeah, I mean, I tried. I mean, I joined. The panels got swooped up so quickly, and then the boys cast came out of nowhere. So like the panel got taken so quickly. So I'm gonna be able to see Chucky early. I know that. I know they have this new Star Trek show coming out that I was gonna be able to see early, but I have a picture with like what's her name, Karen Fukuhara from The Boys. So I'm gonna be doing that instead. So I mean, a lot of things, but there was a lot going on. I'm really excited. It should be awesome.
Wasn't Kevin Smith supposed to do a Howard the Duck show at one point?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's still happening, isn't it?
I hope it is.
I don't know if he's got any backlash because of the He-Man stuff, but I last time I heard, I think it's still going on. But which one of you said? Busy said that? All right, so I'm gonna say this. The MCU was built off of the backs of a rated R character in Blade.
Oh, okay.
Now, a lot of people don't know this, but Blade was one of the first ones that's technically under the Marvel umbrella.
Yep.
And it's just interesting how you start there, you get to where we get now, but now we're going full circle. My question to you guys is this: you got one of the best actors in the business right now that's gonna be playing Blade. What if this movie or series is PG-13? How y'all gonna feel about it?
Hey, bro. I don't know, bro. Because like this the thing. This is the thing with me, with Marvel and the comedy, and I love it. But I feel like certain characters you need, like Blade. Like, come on now. Like, look, I haven't seen the other ones. I have to actually do a full proper rewatch of the first film because it's literally been a long time. I don't think I actually remember too much from my first watch, but from what I do remember, like, you can't vampires, and just from what I know of Blade Blades from the comic books and just all the comic book runs that I read, you can't. I don't think you can really pull it off, in my opinion. You gotta have some of that things that you can get away with a mature rating, in my opinion, in order for it to really be a Blade film. Especially if you're gonna, I don't know. I just don't know if it'll be epic enough because in the comic books you might see like straight up beheadings and like crap, like
right.
Like literally on the Punisher comics, it literally has a caution. So I got a couple in the other room that literally say like it's not meant for younger audiences. It's meant for older audiences. I mean, a lot of these comics aren't meant for younger audiences. So when I don't know, sometimes I just don't understand it, but I understand they're about money. And
right,
rated R movies aren't gonna reach that. But I mean, with
it's not gonna pack seats.
I mean, I don't even care if they go to the point where they need to find a character that they don't think would merchandise well, like do good with merch and all that crap. To the point where they're like, screw it, we'll make a rated R film with this, see how it works out. I mean, I don't know I don't care if they do a side character. I don't know, but they need to test the water so we can show them that we're actually willing to check out a rated R film, like a Marvel film.
It's like, weird.
Imagine a situation like this, bro.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
and
man.
It's like you got these two Goliaths. Like, how can you really show what they're really capable of if this is just a PG-13 situation?
It's
so hard, bro.
It's weird because I just thought about Guillermo del Toro's Hellboy movies and how those were really pushing the PG-13 rating, and there was cutting of creatures apart, shooting stuff around, and it's like you could, if you have to do the PG-13 rating, push it to the limit. Yep. But at this point, MCU, for me, the MCU has earned their stripes to swing for the fences when it comes to an R rating.
Mm-hmm. And does cutting up a creature or an alien, does that really push the R rating?
No,
I mean, I know they did that with Infinity War, so I mean, they did that multiple occasions with Black Dwarf getting.
You know what? They actually did. Didn't they straight up remove not Ebony Maw, man? Those two other dudes.
It was Cull Obsidian in the movie.
Yeah, they straight up like decapitated him.
Well, yeah. On top of that, but he also lost his arm too. I totally forgot that he totally.
And the creatures.
That
the creatures from Wakanda that were just
their bodies are good.
Yeah, they're killing themselves.
They were dicing themselves away. I think it's when you start to have like, humans. Like, it's gonna be hard because like a vampire looks like a human, right?
Yeah,
and so it's kind of like
it depends on the iteration,
right? But I don't know.
I just want to see Morbius and Blade fight. That's all I want to see in my life.
And, I don't know if that's ever gonna happen now.
I don't think so.
Unless something changes. And the weird thing is, Morbius was supposed to come out this year. It was supposed to come out before. And the funny thing is, dang, that's right, because Vulture in that trailer showed up.
And
Spider-Man.
And a Spider-Man poster says "Wanted" or "Murderer."
Murderer. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were really teasing this from the get-go, but it's like I don't really know what they're planning on doing, and they just give me a headache at this point because it's like they tease these little things, then they just all of a sudden throw a curveball. I'm like, yo, what are you doing?
I mean, if you could do a what if episode, which a show that's aimed more at kids, and the majority of the episodes end depressingly through all of them. I mean, the Doctor Strange one. I mean,
that one was rough.
That was a little more intense.
I mean, if you could do that in just an animation, which is aiming at kids, adults can take it. Adults can take it, and if it's too much for them,
I feel like there's enough. I feel.
Wait, was there another comment or what?
Mr. David, man.
Oh.
Yeah, just
Mr.
tease
David.
it in the title. That would work perfectly.
I would say like I would argue to say that there's enough adult MCU fans for them to get away with an R-rated film. Like what Busy was saying, they've done enough to the point where I think they can you know, I don't know if it was Busy or Ronan said this, but they've done enough that they can just
they burned it.
You know, yeah, give
10 years, 10 plus years of like family friendly. And again, I don't want all the family friendly stuff to go away.
Right.
These are for made for families to stick together.
It's true. They're still introducing the the movies are still being introduced to some people. But you gotta understand, when Iron Man came out, bro, I was 8 or 9, and I'm 21 now. So it's like there's a point where some of these movies need to change. Like some of these movies, you need to grow. Like these movies can grow up with the people watching. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like they need a Team GVS is a big dog over here.
We were talking about being old.
Oh,
you were like, how old were you when the first one came out?
I'm about to go to sleep and go check.
We start playing some Johnny Cash music.
Oh yeah, you got a whole ass family. I forgot about that.
Oh,
Busy.
Man, yo, hey, you right about that, Busy. You right. I've been busy.
I've been busy.
That was beautiful.
Oh man, beautiful family. Beautiful.
But not busy.
Yep.
One of the things that we talked about with that,
besides kneecaps,
is that Sony they're bringing us to a Spider-Verse scenario, like an actual live-action Spider-Verse scenario. When you got like rich characters like Miles Morales, Gwen Stacy, Spider-Gwen, or Ghost Spider, imagine them on a live action scale. And if the moves that they're making, what I think is true, after No Way Home, and things are going to be effectively different, like we could see a whole nother situation by the time 2022 is when Spider-Verse 2 comes out.
Sounds about right. I don't know if it was delayed due to the pandemic, but yeah. Right.
Like the catalyst to
where you muted, Ronan.
Go could be amazing. And I think that's what we were talking about, that it's a possibility that the moment that happened with Eddie and Venom, it may not be Strange. It may be a Spider-Verse situation that was happening prior, because it's still a Sony film. And we don't know that. We don't know. All I know is that the ripple that happened to me reminded me more of when I saw Miles in a Spider-Verse situation. Even the sound. It sounded like, this reminds me of the Spider-Verse movie.
People were mentioning that. I didn't see that until after I watched it, so I need to watch it again. That way, I can look at it again. But yeah, I mean, that could be pretty accurate, and I wouldn't mind that. Specifically with all the heads that are supposed to show up in the Spider-Verse 2. I mean, they teased at least 15 heads. Like, I mean, I don't know who else is going to be showing up, but
Miguel O'Hara.
Yeah, that was the post-credit scene, but they showed a teaser with literally a whole bunch of more people,
Miguel O'Hara is Oscar Isaac, though.
Yeah.
Right.
That's gonna be crazy to watch. Oh yeah. Man, Moon Knight.
Right. So, but to talk about, we were having this conversation a little bit earlier about if I don't know who saw, I don't know, David, man. I think David brought this up about Venom, being what's his name, Tom Hardy being 40 years old, going off against a kid. I was thinking it can actually work in a way where Eddie is annoyed by him, not in the sense that I dislike him, we see Flash or we see Eddie just having a straight up issue with Peter, or like how it was portrayed in Spider-Man 3 when he had he literally went to church, bro. He went to church and asked God to kill Peter Parker.
But that Eddie was a loser, though. That was different. This man was ready to propose to Gwen after one cup of coffee, bro. That man was different.
He was. All right. Look. When the heart knows, the heart knows. But
I feel like both people have to know.
Oh yeah. So that's
true.
The thing, Busy, that we did talk about is that the possibility that the symbiote's reach is not just secluded to his universe, but could be in multiple different universes. And the reason why he recognized is because like, oh snap, this is the same ninja that got us killed the first time.
That would
Oh,
make
heck
it.
no.
Didn't he say something on the lines of like we have a problem or something? Oh, didn't he say something like he
I
said
could have sworn
something?
he said like he looked at him. He was like this guy.
He
Like
did,
he
he
knew
did.
him. Yeah,
He-
right.
He did, and that's why I said that initially they were in like Mexico and it was dark, and then they were in somewhere completely different. But yet it seemed like how would they retain their same exact memories? Some of it just does not add up. And that's
So-
why
And I
told
feel
him
like
going to the
that
Spider-Verse
makes
situation.
sense on why he dropped that specific line during the like they could have dropped the whole intelligence thing throughout the entire movie, but they
Right.
chose to drop the billions of years of like
Multiple-
Knowledge.
at
Yeah.
the end of like right before that scene happened. And so and although Eddie didn't share what he kind of picked up from Venom, I mean they could totally do something on the lines of that, like several past lives, several like situations. I don't know, they could do something like that, but that's actually really awesome thinking. That'd be pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
The just to add back to the whole with the kid thing, like sometimes you have like a little cousin or like a little like brother or something like that, and he's just poking you and he's getting you like, can you shut up? Like, could you stop? Like, leave me alone. Like, that's the kind of relationship I can see Tom Hardy's Venom having with Tom Holland. Like, dude, kid, shut up. Like, you
That's like
talk
the
way too
Wolverine
much.
and Peter, bro. Like,
Yeah,
that's how it is.
like you're pissing me off. Like, shut up. Like, shut up. Go back home to your aunt. Don't you have an aunt?
It'd be funny if
He's like, your entire family isn't dead. Go home.
Go home. Like, why are you out here messing with me? Like, chill out.
it'd be funny if somebody like out of the blue, like in the background's like, call child services. That guy's hitting a kid. Like, call somebody. I'd be laughing and be like, oh, there's some reality to this.
That's something that needs to happen in like Deadpool. Like I really want Deadpool to make a rip out of the whole rated R situation that we've been talking about. Like that needs to happen. Like Deadpool is the king of fourth wall breaks, right? So he needs to say, "Oh, we were so close of not having a third one." Oh,
Him and Harley.
Actually, She-Hulk. People don't know that She-Hulk actually.
Yeah,
Deadpool got that whole fourth wall stuff from She-Hulk.
Key word. I said he's the king.
Okay.
No,
okay.
I did not know anything about She-Hulk.
Okay. I see.
It's bringing me trivia nights all over again.
All right.
Trivia
nights. All right.
Hey,
so
we got to do another trivia night, no bull.
No,
That
we
was
do.
fun.
We
That
do.
was- that was
we do. So all right. So I'm looking at the time. We're pulling up on 2 hours. It is 10:40 p.m.
Damn.
EST my time. Yeah, we're about 10 minutes away from being 2 hours. We can go on and on about this thing, but do you get? I think this is a good spot to actually close up. Do you guys have anything else that we haven't touched on, or in the comments, guys? If you guys have any questions or any things that you want us to address, now is the time. But if you guys have anything that you want to say or add or to the film or any final predictions you may have for the series, go for it.
Just the mutation part. That's the one thing I'm like, is that ever going to be brought up, or is that going to be teased along the way? Did Kevin Feige approve of this? Or like, what's behind that? Because even it's funny, even when a lot of these actors do like the interviews, and like I remember when Elizabeth Olsen talked about how about your mutant powers, and like it was at a panel, I think at Comic-Con, people were like, oh, we can't say that word, we can't say mutants or mutation, we can't say that. So I'm wondering now is if that's just a little nod to us fans, or is that something factual? Is that something tangible that will be played out?
That's actually a really good question, because he would have had to have signed off on that post-credit scene, because that is revolving his MCU version of Spider-Man. Even though technically it's under the guise of
Oh my god!
I love the one with him wearing the Punisher.
Yeah, there's like a no. So I didn't mean to interrupt what you were saying. I just had to pull this up. When you said, "Did Kevin Feige approve of this?" I'm like, literally the first thing I can think about is this joint right here, man. This right here.
Oh my god!
So
Kevin, no.
Kevin, just
Twitter
is running with this thing, because every time they say somebody says something that they're not supposed to say with the MCU. Because I don't know if you guys heard. This is a sidetrack. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But like everything with Simu saying now, he got like people getting like text messages saying like I think Owen Wilson said it. He was like that they texted him after he revealed something, and he was like, "Oh, first or strike one" or something like that. He like an anonymous text saying "strike one." So I'm like,
Men in Black.
I'd really hope that was a joke. That would be so.
He said that, and apparently, I think I don't know if it's like an inside joke, because Simu Liu said the same thing too. He was like, he got a text, saying, like, don't say anybody or else or something like that. I don't know. Like,
how was Tom Holland and Mark Ruffalo still around?
I don't know. This got to be some type of inside joke or something. I don't know. But anyways, I didn't mean to interrupt. But please continue.
Sadly enough, I don't even remember what I was gonna say. I'll say the only thing
That's
I was
my
gonna
bad,
add.
bro.
No, you get. The only thing I was gonna add was the reality is that Toby's Spider-Man, Andrew's Spider-Man, and of course Tom Holland's Spider-Man are all so effectively different. Like Toby's Spider-Man, the leaning on was Mary Jane. He had his own slew of villains and whatnot, and then eventually he had a Gwen Stacy, but the Gwen Stacy didn't die. Andrew's version, which is his own universe, in my opinion, had Gwen Stacy. She was prominent. She died. They never even introduced MJ. And in Tom Holland's version, none of the friends that Peter would have, like Harry Osborn or like, of course they had Liz, but then they didn't add the conventional side of where things were going to go. They took different luxuries, in my opinion, from Miles Morales. So I'm thinking that by the end of No Way Home, a lot of this is all going to be consolidated, because I think it needs to. Regardless if it's going to be Tom Holland moving forward or my prediction, Andrew Garfield, whoever they do, it's got to lead somewhere so that when Miles is introduced, that he has somebody that he can kind of look up to train him to be what he needs to be. Because if we're looking at the Spider-Man game, like one of the benefits of it is having an adult Spider-Man being able to train a young Miles Morales who's in the situation that he's in. And I think that's what we need to get to. I think where the games are at right now, that's why I'm hoping they get us to for the live action. As much as I love, like you said, Matt, having like a younger represented, Peter Parker, I still haven't seen like an adult fully realized Peter Parker yet. Like one that's in the business side, or one that is completely adult, or one that understands, is fully realized, been in the game for 10 years. So I'm really curious to see where they go from here. But the possibilities are endless, in my opinion.
Yeah, I really hope they try to build up to that. Like, I mean, I know it seems like that's what they're doing, but that's one thing I've never been a huge fan of. The fact that it seems like Peter relies really heavily on guidance and all that stuff. I mean, obviously Uncle Ben is a big part of who he was, but this man has so many role models, and it just seems like half the movie is him just trying to realize that he can actually do it by himself. I mean, I feel like the next movie should be him actually being able
every
to do
Flash
it
season ever. Anyways.
Yeah, I can't watch that anymore, man.
I mean, I
gave up on the series. It's sad.
Yeah, I haven't even. Yeah, it's been really hard. I mean, it's been tough.
I only saw the first season and a little bit of season 2. Have I missed much or no?
Oh
yes.
Get through the
yes and no. Yes
and
no.
Season 3 is where it ends. Okay, please.
Okay. I mean, for Spider-Man, I hope that we've wrapped up not the connection with Iron Man or Tony Stark, but the fact that each other villain might be connected with Tony Stark. Did this guy do Stark's laundry? Did this guy do his construction? Like what happened? I'm like, okay, I get it. Let's move on from that. Like if you have to link it back with the Starks, have Peter have a moment with Pepper or with Morgan and be like, just checking on you guys. I know, I would want to do this for Tony. That I just want to check on how the two of you doing. If you need any help, let me know. And just be even a friendly like sibling to Morgan. I don't know, but just
Peter needs Stark to be a mentor himself.
I do think we can. I do think we will or can get there. And just to go back to what all you guys are saying, let's not forget. And we brought this up earlier too. Childish Gambino, right, playing the Prowler. he said he said I got a nephew that live here, right?
Yeah.
So if he has a nephew, and look how young he was, right? He wasn't like a little bit older, like 40s or something like that, or late 30s, early 40s, like it was portrayed in Into the Spider-Verse, right? He was a little bit younger. To me, he looked like maybe he's as early 30s, late 20s, right? And so to me, maybe Miles is already here and he's younger. Not already, he is already here, but he's younger.
I mean, that
right?
really depends on the whole blip situation as well.
It does.
Right.
It does. Well, you know what? That is a fact, though. That is a fact. That is a major fact. But then again, some people were infected, some people weren't affected.
Yeah. But either way, it's still been a good. It's been what, like that happened in 2017, 16, when he was young.
Dang.
That
is true. Something terrible.
Yeah,
I just realized something so bad.
So yeah,
and you gotta skip the 5 years.
All the things that we're talking about right now, like the blip, what the MCU has been, once they introduce this multiverse situation, it's not going to matter.
The blip, yeah.
Once the multiverse, because everything is going to be effectively different.
You could see the realization happen with you. You were like, "Oh God."
People had problems with that with Loki about what's it called? Oh my gosh, when you could choose your own destiny. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on it.
Fate?
No, not fate.
What the glorious purpose thing?
No, about like how everything has already been planned out.
Purpose.
Set in stone.
Well, like about the whole thing about individuality, like I make my own destiny, and it's not pre-made and whatnot. I forgot the term of it. I forgot about it.
Predestined.
Yeah. Oh, man, I'm blanking on it. Damn, come on, Ronan. College, you're in college. Come on.
Just have everyone spam different words in the comments until they get it right.
But yeah, that's the concerning thing about not making the past irrelevant anymore. Make it still grounded. But again, Sam brought up the whole multiverse thing, which I'm like, I hope that doesn't.
Honestly, guys, I can see Tom Holland. I can see this happen. I can see him getting to that adult level with time, man. I honestly feel like all right, we'll see. I just reacted to Casino Royale today. How much chips you putting in?
He's gonna sacrifice himself.
How much subs you putting in, bro? How much subs?
Hey, you know what? I don't know what they're gonna do. I'm just joking, but that would be some messed up stuff. Like some people would legit be hurt over that.
I don't know if they're gonna kill him. I don't see that happening. I don't know.
No,
for some reason I can't fathom.
I think by the end of it, we're gonna still have a Spider-Man. I just don't know if it's gonna be Tom Holland Spider-Man. That's all I'm saying.
So the thing is, though, another thing is, though, you remember a lot of these. I mean,
wait, you think he might die in No Way Home?
I don't think so, bro.
I didn't say that.
Oh no, I'm just curious.
I didn't say that.
Cause look.
Die.
No, what I proposed before was that there's going to be a scenario, absolutely, in No Way Home, where one or a few of the Spider-Man are going to sacrifice, or be willing to sacrifice themselves. But the movie, effectively, this whole trilogy is about Tom Holland's character stepping up to be what he's supposed to be. And I think that a whole bulk of the things that have happened have been caused by him. And it could be what Ronan said. He, pays the price to that, having to leave his universe and go to whatever Sony's universe is. That could be it. Or it could be worse than that. I don't really know. But I'm saying that it's building up to him making a effective adult decision, not just dying because of something that happened, like in the Endgame situation, but him making an actual choice conscientiously as a hero.
Like Tony.
Because he doesn't have anybody that he's tied to other than this MJ. And he could lose MJ and go to a different universe, but I don't know, man. Like, it's something weird about what's going on that I just don't see.
I get what you're saying.
Version going anywhere from this.
And then there's rumors that Toby, if he is supposed to be in No Way Home, there's rumors that he might appear in Multiverse of Madness. And then I don't know. There's just so many rumors that make you question
people
how
said that because Sam Raimi is directing it. Of course.
Oh yeah, so that would be
I wonder if he's actually be in the suit, or he'll just be like, no, he's Ben Parker. We just he's Uncle. Yeah, he's Uncle Ben. We just never showed his face.
It'd be really terrible. Like I wouldn't
No,
mind
it-
that would be the
like
case, but
Dean
it'd
Cain,
be
Supergirl's
terrible if
dad.
that's what they did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
They're not gonna do that. They're not gonna do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, good.
No, I look. I don't know. To me, it just I don't know, man. What do I know, right? To me,
It's okay, Andy. It's okay, man.
to me,
I was just don't feel
no,
bad.
no. I'm not feeling bad. I'm just.
I'm
All up
not
in his
trying to burst
feelings now.
anybody's bubble.
No.
tonight,
I wasn't directing that at you. I'm just making a general statement. I'm just making that at you, brother. Look, everybody got their own. I like this. I like all this theory and discussion and prediction.
Yeah, man.
Like I want to hear the opposites and the negatives and the positives and everything in between. I like that stuff. It helps keep the stuff alive. But just in my opinion, I see it as more meaningful for them to, if they had to off somebody, was to take out Tobey Maguire, just because for the OGs, it would just make a lot more sense as like a passing on the torch thing. Like, you got this now, young bucks. Like, y'all got this. Like, we could have him do like one last sort of train scene again and just have it go out like a G, like a boss, man.
Yeah,
so like I don't know.
So take that scenario, right? Okay, let's keep that. And for a fact, Andrew Garfield's character had 2 movies that are effectively not well received, even though he's a great Spider-Man. He never even got a 3rd movie, even though he might be under contract for a 3rd. And they just decide, you think they're gonna kill Toby's character and not kill Andrew's?
I mean, they could take out Andrew too. I'm just saying, I don't think they'll take out Tom.
No BS.
But
I feel like I'm going to be apologizing to Team JVS in a couple months when it turns out everything ends up being true that he's saying.
My thing is, I can see them taking out.
Like he got his sources on the inside right now.
Right. No, I feel like they can take out Toby and Andrew. I just don't see them taking out Tom right now. That's just what I'm trying. That's mainly what I'm getting to. I don't see them really taking out Tom right now.
This man gonna be hurt.
He's in denial.
Okay, look. If they take out Tom, it's gonna be Bridget Tarbithia all over again. All right, I'm done at that point. All right, if they do that, look, Sam, you just gonna see me. I'm just gonna be like, all right, bro. So you see. Right?
Yeah, he'll text you halfway through the movie before that shit ends. So, like, you were right.
Well, most likely, I'm probably gonna see it early. So I will probably text him and be like, "Look, don't." If I say to you, "Look, Matt," if I say, "Don't go see the movie," don't look at him. Don't do it to yourself, dog. It's not worth it, man. I gotta go see y'all. Y'all need stuff.
Yeah. All right. We do gotta close that. I got what I gotta do? I gotta do. What's tomorrow? Wednesday?
You got a lot going on.
Yeah, what's
tomorrow? Tuesday.
Tomorrow's Tuesday. Okay, we gotta record some Squid Game and stuff in the morning.
I gotta finish on my block.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, that just dropped. All right. We can't take all these questions. I'll take 3. Just to wrap it up, and we'll do. So Terrell had a pretty interesting comment.
No.
Yeah, we can get this one out the way. Yes or no? What y'all think?
Nah.
I guarantee you, Venom's gonna show up in that movie.
But I don't think
I don't know what Venom.
No.
I don't know what Venom, but he's not. Well, I don't know. Well, so this is a weird thing. We don't know who is running what, right? We don't know if Doctor Strange is actually Doctor Strange. We don't know if Norman Osborn is gonna be like running stuff. We don't really know. But it doesn't make sense for him to be involved in the main plot, but he will be teaming up with the villains in some capacity. He might even help Spider-Man for all we know. I don't know, but he's gonna show up.
I agree with JVS, and this talk is making me be like, should I even watch the next trailer they're gonna drop for this? I'm like, I should go blind for this one, like just black out.
Impossible.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They freaking got the end credit scene up there like what was it, 3 weeks ago, bro?
Yeah,
I had to avoid that thing like the plague.
The double masking and everything. Oh man.
All right, so we got one more here from Mr. David. Mr. David, man. David been a trip the whole night. All right.
Oh,
You think when the rumors of Tom Spider-Man leaving the MCU was what led Kevin to make the merge with Venom happen?
That'd be a ballsy power play.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be like a bluff. That'd be like,
But-
let's see, call Sony.
But it doesn't really benefit them though, because that helps them out for one movie. They still have ownership of everything on the Spider-Man side.
That's
Like
true.
it helps. It helps.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you think of in consideration of again the Morbius situation with them teasing Michael Keaton and all that, so it could be bigger because they do have a lot of Spider-Man characters, and of course Kevin Feige. I don't think he's gonna put up a fight for that Spider-Man character.
But Vulture is a Spider-Man villain. Sony owns them, not
Okay.
MCU.
Mm-hmm.
So, like Shocker, like that's
Scorpion.
Sony.
Scorpion.
That's Sony.
Yeah.
Like MCU, all these different movies are like Sony just decided, okay, we're gonna help you structuralize a good, solid Spider-Man film that people are gonna love or like, and they succeeded in that. But the characters, fundamentally, outside of like a few characters they brought from the MCU, are all from Sony. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that would be a benefit. I think it works. It works to boost sales. It adds more anticipation for the Doctor Strange movie for sure, and going into No Way Home. But
And I think the MCU has enough more stories to tell than just Spider-Man. As excited I am for it, the universe is big, and we're introducing new characters, specifically the Eternals. That's a whole nother mythology that we have to wrap our heads around.
The Eternals. I thought the Eternal. Okay, so Sony, the whole thing about this movie bringing in the mutations, I feel like the Eternals are really going to bring in mutants, man. And I feel like we're really going to, so I did see this comment from David actually earlier about not sure how to get in for any reading recommendations for the Eternals. Actually, ironically, they actually just came out with a new run. Go pick this up. All right, go pick this up. This is pretty good. It does a good job of kind of just recapping the basics of the characters and what they're about and how they work. So go pick this up. This is the Eternals. I'm trying to see who wrote this one. I don't remember who wrote this one. I don't remember, but look for this cover. Okay, for those who need to screenshot this on YouTube, look for this cover. It's pretty new. And also, Jack Kirby's a good way to start as well. The guy who made it himself. Jack Kirby stuff. Go check that out because that's what really introduces more of the deeper lore with the Celestials and how they operate and how this whole thing works. So I mean, and obviously there's other runs that came out after between 2008, 2009.
Neil Gaiman and his stuff.
Yeah, Neil Gaiman. That run was pretty good. I think someone described it this way: Jack Kirby's is a good way to introduce some of the more depths of the character and what they actually mean and their roles in the universe, and then all the other stuff is just great stories. So that's the only way I can really put it. But definitely check those out. But the Eternals is a whole different, man. That's a whole different court. All right, it's a whole different court. All this stuff is JV, man. Eternals is like special charter school varsity team, like Karasuno High Q, like Date Tech or whatever, like. So but yeah, I did have one question. I saw it earlier, and we'll close out with this question. I forgot who posted it, but and also shout out to David for the super chat. I appreciate it, brother.
One more day.
What do you guys think? Someone said, do you think they should make a Spider-Man Disney Plus series?
How would that even work?
I don't know. But what do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
You don't want my thoughts.
I want your thoughts. I want your thoughts.
He meant to say with Andrew Garfield.
No. So this is the
any
reality.
Any Spider-Man doesn't have to be Tom.
This is the reality that
it could be Miles.
It can't actually happen. Sony literally just made a deal with one of the biggest streaming services in the world, in Netflix. So moving forward, all Spider-Man movies, all Spider-Man shows, all Spider-Verse shows and stuff are going to be going exclusively to Netflix. So it's kind of like, It would be dope to see a
Yeah.
Spider-Gwen. It'd be dope to see a Spider-Woman on Disney Plus. It would be dope to see
Spider-Man Noir for me.
Silk or something like that on Disney Plus. But all that's gonna go like it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna go straight to Netflix, and it's gonna be kind of live action shows. They're gonna do what they did with, unfortunately, the Marvel Knights situation. They're gonna probably do with the Spider-Verse, and it's gonna be glorious. But yeah, that's why I said I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to dampen everybody.
You're not dampening nothing, man. Gerald.
The possibilities are endless, man.
Possible. Well, I mean, look, there is a straight up fact in the point that because I totally forgot about them making a deal with Netflix. So that already negates that question about whether they can be a Disney Plus series. That already answers that. That already answers that question already.
How about an Aunt May series where it's just,
Marissa Tomei?
An Aunt
I'd
Bay.
watch it.
Aunt Bay series.
Aunt Bay.
I heard that there was rumors a while ago that they were planning on an Aunt May movie. I'm really hoping those are fake.
I hope
like back with the Amazing Spider-Man was the thing that they were planning on doing an Aunt May movie. That would have. I don't know how that would have worked, and I don't know. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Those Sony leaks, man. Those Sony leaks, bro. They were doing some weird, wild stuff like that.
I thought I was talking nonsense, or maybe I heard it in a dream. No, I don't know what's going on.
Like the reason why the Spider-Verse, the Amazing Spider-Man movie was as bad as it was because of the same meddling that they were doing when they were
Spider-Man 3.
Everything was leaking out. So.
And Hardy, oh my Lord, David, we had enough of you tonight.
David, go to bed, man.
Go to bed, David. We about to
Your parents are worried.
All right, so my final thoughts on that, just because JVS Sam brought up a good point. They made a deal with Netflix, so it's just not going to happen. It's just really not going to happen. If anything, maybe like you said, maybe just do a decent Spider-Man, I don't know, series on Netflix or whatever, but it's definitely not going to be on Disney Plus, especially with that deal with Netflix, because I totally forgot about that whole thing. So yeah, man, I don't see that happening. It would be cool though, just to kind of get that vibe. But I'm okay with going back to some of those grittier, like Daredevil type days with Marvel stuff separated from Disney a little bit. I'm okay with getting some more filmmakers and more writers and stuff involved with this kind of stuff, man.
Right.
But yeah. So any closing thoughts from you guys before we do our outro plugs and all that? Any closing thoughts before
we are spoiled? Out? There's too much content coming out and we are spoiled. It's gonna be a good year. Ending year in terms of entertainment.
Hey, bro.
Star Wars, Marvel, man.
The Polynesian
Star Wars.
Hawkeye. Oof.
Oh yeah.
God.
DC fandom coming up.
Oh my gosh, man!
Get ready.
Okay,
everybody.
Are you guys covering DC fandom live, or are you just gonna do stuff after?
Part of the plan is to like maybe.
Wait, what?
Man, look, I got kids, bro. I gotta ask wifey, man. I don't know. Saturday.
That's part of the plan. So yeah, I'd like to do that maybe.
The thing with DC fandom, I had to beg my soon-to-be wife, because DC fandom is the week after our wedding, and we were originally supposed to go away that weekend. And I have the coolest wife in the world.
So
because
you pushed your honeymoon back for DC fandom.
I rescheduled it, so I put it back. No, hear me out. No, there was other logistical reasons. Okay. There was other logistical reasons. There was other reasons. There was other reasons too. Some of them are finance. Some of them are like scheduling with hotels and stuff like that. And like where we actually where we have to go, where we have to travel. Scheduling that stuff worked better, so it ended up working in my favor anyway.
DC, you better sponsor this, man. DC,
you better sponsor it. Honestly,
hey, I'm gonna talk to some of my people, man. I'm gonna try to get you a sponsorship, dog. Bro, I can't believe you did that.
No. Okay, so all right. You said my man Matthew Wilder. Let me explain, y'all. I can actually bring her in. I can bring her in here, and we can explain the whole thing. So originally, I was just, we were gonna go away, And then Sam, we were gonna go away, and I said, you know what? Maybe I'll do DC fandom stuff after when I come back. I'll just record the trailers or whatever. I'll just stay off of social media, yada yada yada. That was gonna be the plan. I'm like, you know what? Honeymoon, that's more important. And then because of all the other stuff, all the other adult things that happened, we're like, you know what? We have to reschedule it anyway. So I'm like, you know what? The weekend actually is free. And I'm like, are you still okay with if I actually try to do it since we're not doing anything that week? She's like, yeah, go for it. So here we are. But I have to preface this. I did initially say I'm gonna do it the following week. Just like, you know, they do the THO stuff and they released all the trailers and whatnot. Just watch all the trailers and all that. So don't look, bro. Family's first to me, okay? Don't come for me in the comments. I see y'all. Don't come for me. Family's first. Family is first for me, okay?
Yeah.
But you know, I will be covering. Well, both of us actually will be covering DC fandom. She's actually very excited. Okay, hold on. I gotta zoom in. She's actually very excited to check out.
She
DC
got her own
fandom.
channel too, right? So she's probably
She does have her own. She does have her own channel. Yes. So so yeah, man. Yo, I'm telling you, DC. Look, honestly, WB. I've been supporting. I've defended WB in the weirdest of times, man. Like when everybody was trashing the Flash, and I was the one guy. That's just
You're
like I made it through season 7. Do not talk bad about something we haven't.
Right now, it's Trey and Tasha are married to the real. They're still holding strong.
I was gonna say, what about Trey?
Yeah, Trey. No, Trey is a fan at heart, so you know I got much respect to Trey, man.
Oh, and he knows a lot too.
Oh,
like, during the trivia night, that man was.
Oh man, he's knowledgeable when it comes to his comic book. Don't play with Trey. He knows his stuff. So, but anyways, guys, we can go on and on about this, but let's do plug outs and then we'll close. We'll start with JVS. We'll start with you, brother.
Oh yeah, sure. All right, you guys. You can find our reviews, discussions, random trailer reactions on. Just go to Team JVS on YouTube. I am going to be covering The Walking Dead again. Reviews on YouTube. I will be doing reactions again exclusively on our Twitch. So if you're not subscribed to our Twitch, this is the time to do it because I may legit be doing live reactions. So you might want to get involved with that. And any of you guys that can support our Patreon, I would highly recommend you do because we got a lot of things coming down the pipeline. And I'm covering a lot of film festivals. So any films that you're wondering about, whether they're good or bad, I've probably already seen them already, or I will see them. So pay attention to whatever we got coming up. Make sure you subscribe. And I'd really appreciate it.
Dope. Yeah, I forgot to put links in the description. Sheesh. But definitely check out JVS. All right, Ronan.
You guys can follow me on Twitter and at my YouTube channel. I do reactions, reviews, sometimes vlogs. And this year it's going to be a lot of content, and I'm going to have to be very, very picky because there's a bunch of stuff that I want to do desperately. And hopefully DC fandom coverage can go well. Hopefully Disney Plus Day, I believe that's the term for November 12th, goes well. And I hope that we can grow the channel more and I can start doing some of the crazy ideas I have in my head and just be like, let's just do it. I don't care how many views I get and whatnot, but let's just make the community grow and we'll see what it has in store for us.
Awesome. And Busy.
Well, of course, go follow my channel. And on top of that, TikTok, because I'm trying to get 100K before next year comes around. So that's pretty awesome. And my socials, of course, Twitter and Instagram. Of course, we got a lot of stuff dropping. I try my best to bang out as much as I possibly can. On top of that, we got Comic-Con coming around, so I'm gonna try to vlog some stuff over there. It's my first time going to New York, like for a while, since it's been a long time. So it's gonna be fun being able to vlog and share that with you guys. So I guess that's it. Yeah, subscribe.
All right, guys. I appreciate y'all making this live stream funny, intelligent. We had so many energy dynamics. We went from serious to just straight up just tomfoolery in the comments. So So,
The Wild
it's
Wild
great,
West.
man. Oh yeah. But shout out to all these guys. Ronan, it was we actually spoke today for the first time. Like so I definitely have you back on the channel, man, for us to do some more stuff. Busy, we definitely got to get some stuff done. And JVS,
I'd be honored, man,
bro. We got to do some more stuff as well. So thank you guys for coming.
Yeah, this was like the first time I joined it. I think it's
Yeah.
the first time I actually talked to you like one-on-one, or like other people.
Follow
around.
this man, you
Yeah,
guys.
let's get yeah.
There you go. Hey.
There you go.
Hey, I'm gonna follow you back. Don't worry about that. Let me go.
All
do that
right,
real quick.
guys. Follow Busy Brian, y'all. Follow.
Thank you.
Hey.
It was fun talking to you guys for the first time, Matthew and Busy. It was fun.
Honor,
Honor.
man.
Nice talking to you.
Likewise. You said too much tomfoolery.
From us or from the chat?
No, from you, heroic gangster. Bro, look at your profile picture. Like,
What in the world?
What is that?
I don't know.
It's like a
Is that an
scroll and
alien?
One Punch Man mixed together.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's a vampire mixed with a scroll.
It's
Caillou
Nosferatu.
looks different there.
I'm assuming.
All right, guys. We're gonna check. Thank you guys. See you guys later. Peace. Love, peace, and head grease. See y'all later.
You guys.
Well, we're out.
No, Kevin Feige, no.